things just look and feel a little different. It's always great to see Mark Henry. We're hoping to see Mark Henry in the flesh today, talking about the AEW event next week, but also talking about his the benefit he's a part of, the event, the Big Lift that benefits the USA Weightlifting Foundation that is next Friday on the 19th. Go to hornfm.com for the info to get in on that. And in case you don't know, your ticket price will include a hosted full bar, dining experience, and interaction with Olympians and other celebrated sports figures. Hopefully today, Zay, we can get Mark to commit to which exact figures are going to be there. He's thrown a couple names at me, but I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say them out loud, so I'm going to let him say it today.
Okay.
Like, who's it going to be? But there's some Olympic love going on. He mentioned a wrestling name that I was pretty excited about.
Okay.
He mentioned a couple Longhorn names that you'll be excited about. So that's all coming up in the 2 o'clock hour today, about 2:05. We're going to talk to Mark Henry, AEW, USA Weightlifting Foundation event coming up. So we're very excited about that. And like we said, a lot going on with the NBA and the fact that it is NFL schedule release day. That happens a little later on. Also, just want to send our best out to everybody today, weather-wise, and throughout the rest of the week. Some rain may be coming in, and things are getting moved around and rescheduled. You heard Craig talking about a lot of that. Hopefully the baseball series gets in with San Jose State. Hopefully the tennis is able to happen. Men's and women's tennis over at Texas, really good right now. They do have some indoor options if they need it. They're going to try to play outside as the weekend happens, as they are to the super regional round in men's and women's tennis. And then we hope high school baseball is able to play around the raindrops. Texas softball is in Oklahoma City, and they've got weather, and they're having to move things around today. At last check, they were supposed to play at 12:30 today, and now it's moved to at least 1 because there's a lightning delay. So got to get all that stuff figured out. But we hope everybody is safe and sound today in and around all the rain. Let us know what you're most excited about in terms of your NFL teams, Cowboy fans, Texans fans. What do you look for on schedule day? We'll get into that at 12:30. But let's go ahead and start with a little NBA here, Zay. Last night, two teams did exactly what you wanted them to do. If you're looking for Game 7s, they were needing to stay alive. They were needing to show their home fans that they weren't going down easy, and both of them did, Golden State and the Knicks. Where do we start today? Which of these teams you want to hit first?
Yeah, I got to start with the Warriors. Shout out to them. We know that championship pedigree would not go down lightly, and it all started with Draymond Green. The worst thing that the Lakers could have seen walking into the arena is Tom Izzo in the stands. Draymond Green.
I didn't see. Was he there?
Oh, he was there.
Oh, no.
Draymond loves that man. Like, second dad type stuff. I don't know how close Draymond is with his father, but he's probably pretty close. He stayed 4 years there. He's a Michigan guy. Him and Tom Izzo are very close. He says that he owes Tom Izzo everything for getting him to this point. And I've been watching the Warriors ever since Steph dropped 54 at the Garden almost 10 years ago. And every time Tom Izzo is at a Warriors game, Draymond steps up. Scoring, doing stuff we might not normally see out of him. We know he's a playmaker. We know he's a good defender, but he set the tone. When he hit that three yesterday, shooting only 31%, that was huge. Not just for the Warriors' confidence, but for the Lakers and their strategy. Oh, man, even though we know we want Draymond to hit that, once he hits that, we got to play him a little bit closer. Not much, but just a little bit closer. And he took advantage of that. He was getting to the rim. He was blocking shots. He set the tone early. He got a foul really early in the game, like maybe the first minute, second minute, and he was about to get a tech right then. But that was just the tone. Like, I'm intense. I'm hype. I need to be this way to give my team that extra lift because we need something different. Like Clay, he's still struggling. I don't know if it's because he's a hometown kid from LA and his pops was Showtime Laker and won rings with Magic and Worthy and Kareem, and this might be a little more sentimental to him, to where it's hard for him to focus. But Steph, he came to play, and I love the adjustment that Steve Kerr did with putting in Gary Payton II. Starting him these last two games, that changed a lot because GP2, he's not a big, he's a guard, but he can play like a big. He's very athletic. He crashes the offensive boards. He sets a lot of on-ball screens because they're trying to hide him. So they're trying to hide LeBron a lot of time who's guarding him, and then they're going at LeBron so they can wear him down and the rest of the crew, and also bring out Anthony Davis when he's trying to guard when Anthony Davis is trying to guard GP2, just so Anthony Davis doesn't have to be by the rim and he's not a shot blocker or game changer with his defense. So yeah, man, the Warriors, if I'm a Lakers fan, I'm super nervous because we saw AD get whacked, which Charles Barkley, Shaq, y'all laughed. We know y'all are ignorant. I know that's a topic today about those guys. Did you see that yesterday Inside NBA?
I don't think I did, no.
So
let me
paint the picture for you. So Anthony Davis gets whacked. You saw that.
Yes.
He had to get rolled out in a wheelchair for concussion protocol.
Right.
Now, if you go back and watch Kevon Looney whack him, it doesn't look like a concussion-type hit. You know, it just seems like a normal whack. Yeah, it stings a little bit, but, you know, rub some dirt on it, get back out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, concussion protocol, they wheelchaired him to the locker room. You come after the game, Inside NBA, Shaq, Ernie, Kenny, EJ. Shaq and Charles are laughing for like 3 minutes. Kenny's trying to give an analysis, trying to, you know, give everybody game like he normally does. Kenny Smith does a great job at that. Love the Jet. And they're just dying.
Joking on Anthony Davis?
They're not saying it. They're not really saying it. But then Kenny like grabs his chair, kind of like in a roll motion, and Charles is still laughing like, Kenny, what you doing? You doing the wheelchair thing? What is that?
Okay.
So everybody thinks they're very insensitive, which you got to remember, these guys played in the 90s. If you get a hit like that, going out the game is weak in their minds.
Right.
Now, it's Anthony Davis. Let's be objective here. If he falls, I think that's it. He's done for the series.
Dude,
every time he falls, every time he gets a boo-boo, I'm like, oh, this is it. Dude, he's gone. He's out.
The only people I know in sports that take more shots to the head than him are UFC fighters.
Yeah.
And boxers. Like, it's amazing how much he gets hit and gets hit in the head. It feels like it's always hit. He's always getting domed somehow. It's crazy.
I give the Lakers a lot of credit for winning that championship in the bubble in 2020, excuse me. But if they didn't have that break to where we saw the Utah Jazz game, Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell, they got COVID versus Oklahoma City Thunder, and that's when they shut the whole NBA down along with the world after. And they went on like a break. I don't know when that was, toward the ends of the season. And then they jumped right into the playoffs around September and ended in October. Mm-hmm. If they didn't have that break, Anthony Davis, I don't know if he would have been durable enough to play. He got healthy and he came back as strong as he's ever been. Who knows what will happen if they just continue playing those games. Now you don't get that luxury. Once the season ends, you start the playoffs. So we just been thinking it's only a matter of time Anthony Davis gets knocked down and he doesn't get up. God forbid, you don't wish any injury on anyone, but you see his track record. It's not good when he falls, when he gets hurt. He usually misses a lot of games. And yeah, he avoided concussion protocol. They said he'll be available for game 6. Clearly he won't be 100%. But yeah, man, I have no problem with Kenny and Shaq. Shaq and Charles laughing. They're ignorant. We know they ignorant. They, you know, it's just what it is.
Yeah, it was probably a little insensitive to the situation because everybody's melon is different, right? Everybody's different. I get on a roller coaster and I'm going to vomit. You may not be that way. People listening right now aren't that way. That's not because I'm scared or I'm a wuss or whatever. It's just the way it is. I respond to motion sickness in a different way. Some people don't. And then in this stuff, people are going to respond based on, you know, what they've been through. Davis did have 23 and 9, but you could barely feel it last night. Lakers put up a decent fight. It ended up as a 15-point game. They at least made it a little bit of a battle. What I would love in this game, Zay, if I am the Warriors, by the end of it, the plus 15, they were plus 9 in the threes, they were plus 4 in the twos, and they were plus 2 in free throws. Remember how bad it was earlier in the series? If they can even make the free throws kind of close with the Lakers, that's great. They were plus 2 last night. That's gravy for them because they know these Lakers create free throws. They stayed right with them last night.
Yeah, and Steve Kerr, he was smart. Call him, bitchy, crybaby, whatever. When he went to the podium and said, yo, these moving screens that they're calling aren't moving screens. Lakers flat out flopping. I don't know if he got fined or anything, but that was genius to say. When you're down 3-1, you got to say something to give you an advantage. And it's pretty rich that he said that. Very Steve Jobs-ish, very Robert Kraft-ish, very rich to say that because they do a lot of moving screens. But I've ref before, Chad. You want the game to flow. You could probably make a call, kind of like in football with holding. You could probably make that call every single play. There's probably something happening, but you got to let it flow. And the Warriors know, okay, they might call this moving screen, might call that moving screen, but we're going to keep doing them. And the Lakers, they know that. They've been exaggerating when they get hit. And Steve Kerr made it aware last night. I didn't see many of those calls.
Well, the other good news is if they keep surviving, he gets 2 of these last 3 at home. So he also knew they were at home. He was going to get that love. Now, he also is trying to plant that seed for Game 6. Because Game 6 in L.A., the notion, if you're a conspiracy theorist, would be that the league wants the Lakers to win. The league wants LeBron to win, and in their house, they're going to get all the calls. So Steve is trying to, kind of play, I guess, against that, if you will. But just a great all-around performance from the Warriors.
Yeah,
for Wiggins to have 25 last night?
Yeah, he was big. He was going that run. He was tough. There were 2 big plays throughout the game that changed it for the Lakers when they kind of started creeping back in, and then the Warriors just ripped their heart out. It was before halftime. It was 64-59. Klay Thompson, about 45 seconds left. So the Lakers are close. If we keep it here at 64-59, we go in down by 5 at halftime, feeling good about ourselves with all the threes that they hit early on in the game. But in that 45 seconds, Klay hits a 3. Now it's 67-59. Anthony Davis gets the ball on the other end, turns it over, and then Steph Curry hits that dagger 3.
Man, what a shot.
In the half. Now it's 70-59, just like that.
Yep.
And the dagger 3, just think about how deflating that is. So that was one key point of the game. Then you fast forward to the fourth quarter. The Lakers get within 9. It's 95-104. Anthony Davis is out the game. Austin Reeves hits a huge 3. Steve Kerr calls a timeout. Steph Curry goes on a 5-0 run himself, just like that, to put the lead from 9 to 14. And about 5 minutes to go, and the shot that he was hitting, that pull-up jumper, that corner 3, the crowd erupted, and then Andrew Wiggins hit an and-one shot, and that was basically ball game.
Last night in the post-game, Draymond said something interesting. He was giving Steve Kerr so much credit for his calmness and his confidence that he says it feeds down to everybody else on the team. They are so impressive in a lot of different ways, but what you just said is, I think, one of the key ones. His ability to know when to take that timeout, to know exactly how to handle that timeout, and the way the guys come out of those timeouts. They will hit you with those 5-0, 6-0, 8-0 runs when they've looked sluggish and they look like they're kind of faltering a little bit. They can turn it on a dime, and they did it last night a few times.
Steve Kerr has had the best examples coming up in the league to when he got to be a coach, he could pick the guys that he learned from. He got drafted by Lenny Wilkens. Well, I don't know if he got drafted, but he was on the Cavs early his career. Lenny Wilkens, one of the best coaches of all time. Yep. I don't know if Lenny has any rings, but he's one of the best coaches of all time. Then he goes on to the Bulls, Phil Jackson. We know how calm Phil is with his Zen master stuff, the sage, all that weird hippy-dippy stuff that he be doing. Phil's different, but talk about calm. Phil was always calm.
Oh, now Phil wouldn't even take the time out. Phil would just look at you like,
got Mike.
Y'all got to figure this out, MJ. Sorry.
It's Mike. I wouldn't take timeouts either. Why waste them? We got the greatest player of all time. He just give you that look like, hey, Mike, just go for 30. We're struggling right now. Just go get the 30, please.
Hey, 23, that's you. That's you. I'm not calling timeout.
Yeah, like, Phil, the triangle ain't working. All right, Mike, take over. That's what it was.
Yep.
That's all it was. You don't have to call a timeout for that. So he has that. Then he goes on to Greg Popovich, and same thing.
Right.
He don't get rattled.
No.
So both of those guys you won with, championships with, so you saw them at the highest level of pressure, and now you get to have your own team with a whole bunch of stars and Hall of Famers. Yeah, ain't no need to trip. No need to trip at all. That's why I think they're still going to take the series.
And then much like all those guys, other than Wilkins, because you're right, I don't think he has any rings, but much like once the Phil thing is building and the Pop thing is building, you're doing all of this with rings in your pocket, with the experience in your pocket, but also with the championships. So you know you're not going to go to bed at the end of the series and go, oh, I've never had a championship. No, you got those. You're trying to get more. You're greedy. You got the Kobe mindset of I want as many as I can get, but every time I see Steve Kerr interviewed, in game, out of game, whatever, I just think to myself, yeah, he's not rattled. He is not rattled. He's calm. And I thought it was interesting that Draymond pointed that out last night. They looked extremely focused. And you're right from the beginning, it's him. They go 52 in the paint, I think it was, last night.
When you put up 70 and a half in the playoffs, you're getting buckets.
50-52 in the paint, something like that.
And Jordan Poole was better. He was better. He had a couple of big shots that they needed to get his confidence going because they're going to need him down the line, especially if they continue to play in the postseason. Kevon Looney, it seems like he's slowly getting over that illness. I thought he had some key offensive rebounds yesterday. And, yeah, man, if you're a Lakers fan with Anthony Davis taking that shot and LeBron James kind of tweaking his ankle a little bit.
That was interesting too. Yeah.
Not good. Not good one bit.
It was not great. And then Russell and Reeves had pretty good games with 15 apiece, but the way Golden State was playing, they were going to each need like 20, 25.
Yeah.
And they weren't quite there. Only LeBron and Anthony Davis got over 20 points in that game. So 121-106 was the final there. That series now will transition to LA, as we mentioned. Lakers trying to close the door tomorrow night at home. The other team, of course, that stepped up last night, the Knicks, they keep that series going at 3-2. We'll be talking about that today. But
shout out to Quentin Grimes.
They shot lights out and stayed alive.
Shout out to Quentin Grimes. His D, 48 minutes. Jalen Brunson played 48 minutes too, and he definitely deserves the game ball. But, man, I know the game ball's Wilson now. If I was Jalen Brunson, I'd at least peel off the W or something and hand it to my man Quentin Grimes because his D on Jimmy Butler yesterday, immaculate. One of the greatest possessions in Knick basketball history these last few years was Quentin Grimes getting hit on the screen, falling down like dead leg, limps back up, and then rips Jimmy Butler in clutch time. Like I've never seen Jimmy Butler get ripped in my life. He's so tough. He's such a good ball handler. I've never seen anybody take the ball from him the way that Quentin Grimes did in that moment where they needed to stop because they were only up by 4 or 6 points. That was a huge play. And if the Knicks go on to win the series, I'll be thinking about that play for the rest of the playoffs.
The fact that Butler didn't even get 20 in the game is a huge statement.
48 minutes?
To what you're talking about. He played, 43 is what I'm seeing here?
Oh,
played
man.
43, and he scored only 19 points. That's big. Now, I want to see how Jimmy Butler responds in Game 6.
Yeah.
South Beach. Because both these teams need to think – Lakers and Heat have to think about it one way, one shot. One time, not Game 7. Forget about Game 7. We cannot get on a plane. Not in this series. This series has to be done for travel. We have to finish on our home floor. How much intensity will we see out of Jimmy Butler tomorrow?
I think the Heat are better off losing Game 6 than the Lakers are. I think if the Lakers lose Game 6,
I agree with that.
It's a complete wrap.
I would agree.
I think if the Heat lose going back to Manhattan, I still think they have a chance because 48 minutes for Jalen Brunson, that's a lot. Is he going to get winded? It's going to be interesting seeing him and Grimes both play the whole game, going back for Game 6. Yeah. If you're Tibbs, are you going to play him the whole game again?
Yeah, that's a great point. They both had 48. I didn't realize it was 48 for both.
Oh, man. Your backcourt.
The ball handlers, the energy, the guys coming up and down the floor the most.
I'm tired saying 48 minutes.
Dude, I got exhausted watching them play last night. My God. Golden State and New York both win tonight. You've got one home team and one road team trying to end a series in a Game 6. Boston and Philly, Denver and Phoenix will fire up tonight. We're definitely going to talk a lot of NBA, but it is also NFL schedule release day. Cowboys fans, Texans fans, we'll tell you what we know. We got one Cowboy game we know for sure when it will happen. Plus, we know the first Monday nighter and Thursday nighter, and then later it all will come out. We'll talk some NFL coming right up. Don't move. It's The Horn. All right, let's talk a little sinus and snoring specialist. If you need to be breathing better, sleeping better, resting better, sinus and snoring specialist can help you do that. Dr. Slaughter has over 20 years of experience with ear, nose, and throat, and there's all these different options out there. He's got surgical and non-surgical options, so it's not just a cookie cutter. If you're snoring, then this. If you got sinus issues, then this. Get on in there. Let him check out what your specific situation is. For me, it was moderate obstructed sleep apnea, like I've told you. It was some of the allergy issues people deal with. They were able to get rid of my allergies for good, dial up that special treatment, the allergy drops, with everything focused for what you deal with. Plus, they can throw some things in those drops that people have trouble with around this area, different molds and different ragweed and different stuff like that. And they did that for me. And over about a 3-year period, don't even need the drops anymore. Didn't need the sprays and pills right away, and it's been such a good experience. Call and set up an appointment today. Tell them you heard about it here on The Horn and get yourself to feeling and resting and living better. 512-601-0303 or go to sinussnoringent.com. It's Sinus and Snoring Specialists. Feel clear, rested, and healthy. That's a big voice right there. She said, "Prove Your Love." Is that the name of the song?
Yeah.
Sounds like if I was going to call the song that, I'd just start right away. Sounds like Taylor Dayne.
There we go.
Yeah. She had such a great big voice. That was a powerhouse for a while. I don't even know if she was big enough. Like, I don't know if Taylor Dayne, I'd have to have somebody tell me, but I feel like Taylor Dayne was even more talented than she ended up getting credit for.
Right.
But she had some massive hits back in the day. Taylor Dayne getting us started. Speaking of music, we are moving the album swap discussion to tomorrow for a couple different reasons. One, we got Mark Henry coming in today, but also we had a little kind of schedule change on the week where we wanted one extra day, and Zay and I are listening to, they're kind of long albums, I guess. But tomorrow at 1:05, we're going to get into the album swap discussion. I am listening to A Tribe Called Quest and the Low End Theory from 91. Zay's listening to Metallica's Ride the Lightning from July of 84. Zay, you done with Ride the Lightning yet?
Yep.
Okay. And I'm done with the Low End Theory as of yesterday. I love the two album covers. They're fantastic. We have an electric chair basically in the sky with Metallica, and that cover for Low End Theory is awesome. I don't know if that's just a drawing. I don't know if that is a literal person that's painted up that way, but it's a great visual.
Yeah, I want to say it's African related.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll have more of that information tomorrow.
I'm really interested in that discussion. I think you and I may need to get an award for these two picks in 1 week. But we haven't picked good records before. This is a pretty good week.
Yeah.
We picked some good ones, I think, this week. We'll get into that tomorrow at 1:05. Tonight, once Ball Don't Lie is done, of course, you get Rod and Harge and Patrick at 3 o'clock. They will break it down for you till 7. Longhorn Blitz podcast, replay at 7 for you Longhorn football freaks. We know there are plenty of you out there. And Instant Serious with Patrick and the crew, the different side of everything with that show. If you haven't heard it, it is now a Thursday show at 8 o'clock. That's coming up tonight with Patrick and the crew. All right, we've hit some basketball. We'll continue to do that. The All-NBA teams are out there, plus these two great matchups tonight where two series could end. We could get two teams into the conference finals, or we could get Zay half of what he wants. He wants 4 Game 7s. We could end up with 2 of them tonight created if we get it the right way. So we'll talk about that. But it is also NFL schedule release day. Zay, this is such a good day that we always talk about the brilliance of them leaking stuff out. Our man Jacob just stuck his head in the door. He is, don't say we are not equal opportunity around here. He is a Washington fan.
Yeah.
Whew, it's tough.
It's very tough.
It's tough to deal with. But again, EEOC will come after you if you tell people like that they can't work for you. You know, if you tell Commander fans, they got to go.
Yeah, Jacob's my guy because he's just as hurt as I am for them trading Taylor Heineke. I mean, I follow Taylor Heineke wherever he goes, but him being a Commanders fan and you're not really knowing what's going to happen with Sam Howell, I'd be hurting too.
It's rough. But you know what? Jacob comes by it naturally. He comes by that fandom the way a lot of us do. It's his dad's team. So he grew up with he and his dad in Washington. Just like my wife grew up with she and her dad being Pittsburgh folks, and my dad was a Cowboys fan. So anyway, but he leaned in and he said, hey, I'm hearing from a guy in Washington. Thanksgiving, Cowboys and Washington.
Ugh. All right.
That's an ugh?
I mean, Cowboys are going to roll by like 20, so.
Well, I certainly hope you're right there, but I'll be the old head that says if they wanted to put that game on Thanksgiving every year, I'd be okay with it. Because that feels like Thanksgiving to me.
Huh.
It just feels like Thanksgiving. Now, does somebody want to come back and say, hey, old man, do you think it feels like Thanksgiving because they used to be the Redskins? And
oh, man.
And because of the history of Thanksgiving. And,
I'm so proud I wasn't thinking that dark.
And Squanto and everything. Is that why? No, it's not. It just seems like when I was growing up, it was the game more than it wasn't. Mm-hmm. I feel like 3 out of every 5 years, it was Cowboys, Redskins, and it just felt right to me. So that one makes sense. So that is a rumor that's out there that Cowboys and Washington could be Thanksgiving. But we also have one other one that we know for sure. It's always a classic. Cowboys, Niners. In San Francisco. They're on the road to the Niners this year, and it is in October. Zay, Week 5, Cowboys and 49ers.
Yeah, rematch of that playoff game last year where Dak threw some pretty bad passes and Tony Pollard got injured. And, man, just thinking about that game, that defense, Dan Quinn was dealing. Brock Purdy had no idea what was going on, and it just came down to who made more mistakes, and that was the Dallas Cowboys. So we know how good they are on offense with Deebo Samuel, but they have some questions themselves, like who's going to be the starter. I saw Sam Darnold at the Warriors game. See it with Christian McCaffrey and George Kittle. That looked pretty starter-ish to me.
I can't believe they have Darnold as an insurance policy.
I know that's the homie. I know Christian McCaffrey and Sam have a relationship from them both being in Charlotte. But if I'm Coach Shano and I see that, I'm like, oh, did y'all have to invite Guy? Did y'all have to invite
come
Duke?
on now.
Because you know he's a Trey Lance guy. If Trey Lance didn't get hurt, they probably would have rolled with him.
Right. If he's healthy, you think it's Purdy? Is it Purdy based on what happened last year?
I mean, I guess we got to see how that arm looks. He's still got that zip on it because he's coming from that Tommy John surgery. So he's going to have to get used to slinging the ball the way they need him to sling it.
As it comes out tonight, you'll take a look. If you're a Cowboys fan, obviously you want to look at all the opponent's schedule sometimes too. We'll see how San Francisco starts their schedule. We also got another Niners game announced December 3rd, Niners hosting Philly. Oh, good grief. Talk about a game I'll love to watch, but I hate everything about it. As a Cowboys fan, I just want nobody to win if it's possible, but what a matchup that is. Jalen Hurts and Philly, defending NFC champs, with everything they have added in this draft, all those Georgia Bulldogs that they've added, and then San Francisco, we'll see who's the quarterback by that time. That's way into the season where you really need to know who you are.
Yeah. And a lot of 49er fans, and Deebo Samuel included, say if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt that game, they go on to the championship and not the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah. Oh, my God, they were down to their
championship.
Third or fourth. Who was the quarterback? Didn't Josh Johnson play in that game?
Yeah, it was Johnson.
Dude, they were down
Yikes.
third, fourth, fifth guy.
Yeah, Jimmy G and Trey Lance were on the sideline laughing and stuff.
That was brutal. Yeah, that was crazy, man. Those two games have been announced. Also, we know how the season will start Thursday night. How about this one? Kansas City Chiefs, that makes total sense, right? The Chiefs, the defending champs, will host Detroit.
What?
Dan Campbell and the crew getting the love on a Thursday night. How about that?
A little confused, but
I was too. But it's that was Detroit was playoffs or borderline playoffs?
Borderline.
They were right there. They didn't get in, but almost did.
Yeah, they beat Green Bay in Week 18 to keep them out the playoffs.
That's what it was. Okay, gotcha. But the fact that we know kind of where that, we know what the discussion is around that team, that means you're going to get an early look at that draft pick they made at 12 and that pick they made later. Maybe the linebacker Campbell's in as well. So we'll see what happens there. The first Monday Nighter, Zay, is good, and just get ready for this. If you're a New York hater and an Aaron Rodgers hater, y'all know they're going to throw the Jets in everywhere they can, right? Jets, Buffalo is the first Monday night game.
That's spicy.
Aaron Rodgers hosting Josh Allen in the first Monday Nighter.
Now, is it the weird back-to-back Monday Nighters, or are we just keeping it to one?
I think they're back to one now.
Okay.
I don't see another one. Now, we'll find out tonight when it all comes out. They have – at times they do like to do that, throw us a West Coast game at that night. I hope they just keep it to one, though.
Me too, because that's a real East Coast game, so they could try it. Like, it makes sense if they were to go doubleheader and have that game play first. But, man, with Aaron Rodgers having it be his first game versus Josh Allen.
What else do you need?
The Bills are pissed.
What else do you need?
I really think the Bills are pissed.
Why is that?
Because last year, a lot of unlucky stuff happened to him. I mean, they thought DeMar Hamlin wasn't going to make it. How are we supposed to focus on the playoffs when one of our guys might die? Like, that was real life stuff they were going through last year. Plus, we mentioned all the safeties that they lost during the season, Hyde and Poyer, and then, what's the corner over there? Crazy name.
You're not talking about White.
Yes.
Tre'Davious White.
That's right. Yeah. Tre'Davious White. It ain't that crazy, but still.
First name's great.
Yeah, first name a little crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had a lot of unlucky stuff happen last year. We remember how Stephon Diggs fell after the game versus the Bengals. He was pissed because they knew that this was supposed to be the year. I had them to win last year. A lot of people had them win the Super Bowl last year. And who knows, like, injuries are a part of the game. Yes, I know that. But who knows if they were healthy like the Eagles and the Chiefs were, what would have happened?
Yeah, they can say that all they want. I'll just tell you, my gut will always tell me that the Bills were in trouble that night. Bengals were going up and down the field till that play happened. But I get their anger and their confusion there. Hopefully they're able to just focus on football and roll. That's a great week one matchup to establish how good can the Jets be right away. And then, like you said, can the Bills just kind of get their head together again? And is DeMar Hamlin playing in that game, by the way?
Oh, man.
If he does,
that's a great question.
Because we know he's already back. He's fully cleared.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he's on an exercise bike on the side. They have fully cleared that guy for all football stuff.
That's so amazing.
It's wild, man. Modern medicine, just amazing. And also just his ability to react to it. Obviously, what the Bills and Bengals folks did for him, saving his life, was incredible. So all that's going on, and I think that's all we have. So then maybe Cowboys and Washington on Thanksgiving. That's a rumor that's out there. And then if you're a Cowboys fan, you should know it's 9 road games this year. Remember, 17 games, so you got 9 and 8. So this year, it switches every year. This year, it's 9 road games for the Cowboys. It's 9 home games for the Houston Texans.
You know what my dream week 1 game would be?
What's that?
Prime time, Carrie Underwood, Sunday night, Collinsworth, the Dallas Cowboys, or a Mercedes-Benz Dome versus the Atlanta Falcons.
Ooh, Cowboys Bijan?
Cowboys Bijan. That defense versus Bijan and I guess Desmond Ridder, and that very intriguing offense for the Falcons. Kyle Pitts, Drake London. They got some dudes. It's definitely not going to happen, but that would be my dream week 1 as a Texas fan.
Yeah, that would be wild because I don't think that one.
I don't even think the Falcons are on the schedule.
Yeah. No, I don't think they are. I was going to double check to just make sure. They would not be because they were last in their division. The Cowboys play the NFC West, the entire division, and then the second place team there was Carolina. So the Cowboys will play Carolina.
Okay.
And now, if you don't know, since they've added the 17th game, the way they find the 17th game is you go into the other conference and you're going to play another team that finished exactly where you did in your division. In this case, so the Cowboys get the whole AFC East. So they play the second-place team there, obviously, if you play the whole division. And that's Miami, I believe. But the other second-place team they grabbed, the Chargers, away. They're going to the Chargers as that other second-place matchup. That also could be week 1.
That might be week 1 because Kellen Moore, don't think he's trying to put up 60 on Dan Quinn and those boys on the defensive side. You serious?
Yeah.
Y'all let me go for Big Mike? All right, cool. I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that's one to maybe look for. I'm kind of thinking like Cowboys-Giants feels like it's always the first game, or it has been the first. I'm going to say that, or maybe something out west where they decide, hey, let's see, either you send the Cowboys out west or maybe you bring one of those teams to them. But that one feels like it could work because they have to go to the Chargers. We already know it's a road game, so why not just do that? First Sunday night game, SoFi? It's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea at all.
We will see. NFL, full release tonight. I'm seeing ESPN2 starts at 7. You know it's going to be everywhere, though. NFL Network will be covering it. But 7 o'clock is when things really start to come out. Also, it's official now that Tom Brady is done and retired and moving on. The Patriots have announced they're going to honor Tom Brady week 1. And we know, I don't think we know exactly what that game is yet, but once we find out, once the first home game, we know that's what they're going to do. So Tom Brady's going to get his love in that first home game, and if they retire numbers, they'll obviously do that, or if there's a Ring of Honor, they'll do that, or both. Tom Brady will get the love. Robert Kraft and he are going to hug, and the rest of the NFL will vomit on itself early in the season.
That's cute.
Yeah, that's going to happen.
It's going to be interesting, him and Bill talking and conversating, how that's going to work. Obviously, they got to be cordial and professional, so they're going to hug and pretend to laugh and stuff, but I'm interested to see how that's going to look.
My only prediction on all those interactions is they will all seem shorter than you would like them to be. That's what it's going to feel like. I guarantee you. Guaranteed. However long you think they should hug, it'll be shorter. However long you think they should shake hands, shorter. However long the conversation should be, shorter. It's going to be quick, to the point, and they're moving on.
You don't think Bill would ever ask Tom, because, well, why would Tom be in Foxborough? Like, come on now. But you think he would ever ask him, hey, just come hang around the facilities, give guys game. You're the greatest of all time, obviously the greatest in our franchise. Just your presence, your winning presence around here feeds off the guys. Just come hang out every once in a while. You think Tom would do that? With everything that's happened, all the history.
I don't know. It's an interesting question because this is supposed to be that season where he's chilling, right? He's not.
Yeah, because next year's
broadcast. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's how he would want to spend the year. I don't know if Bill would want that distraction for whoever his quarterbacks are going to be, because that's a huge distraction. So I don't know. I love the idea, though. I just don't know if everybody could deal with that. I don't know if it could.
If you're Mac Jones, you're not calling it a distraction. You're saying the greatest of all time is trying to help me out. You take that.
In theory, yes. I get the idea. I just don't know if it works in real life. I don't know if think about real life social media, Northeast media version of that story. Is Tom Brady going to do a group media interview every day? Because they're going to want to talk to him.
See, now you're asking for too much. No, he ain't going to do that.
Okay.
Just behind the scenes stuff. Watching film with the guys.
He's an analyst is what you're saying.
Basically.
Offensive analyst.
Yes.
All right. Maybe. I'd love it. I'd love that idea. We'll see if that happens. So there's some NFL. We'll keep an eye on the schedule, see if anything else leaks out during the show today. We'll get back into the NBA discussion at 1:05. Up next, though, in the crap bag, let's talk about Andy Enfield and his parent support group. It's kind of famous. This is The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Oh, man. This one's going to be tough. Going to be tough. Not quite my thing, and not quite my time frame. Spending time with you. I know the song, but God, it's an individual, right? Individual name?
No, it's a group.
It is a group. Well, then I definitely don't know. Who is it?
Spiral Staircase.
Oh, I wasn't getting that. Wow. Spiral Staircase. Okay. Spiral Staircase. What's the song called?
More today than yesterday.
Wow. I would have missed both sides of that. All right. Spiral Staircase and Taylor Dane have gotten us started today. We appreciate everybody on the Specs text line 337-3776. Somebody texted, Tom Brady should coach.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Don't know if that's going to happen. Somebody said my opening Monday night game also on 9/11, the all New York matchup. Aha.
Yeah.
And in that case, you really should leave it alone. Just let that be.
Yeah, let that be.
The only things, the only thing you deal with there. Thank you for that. I had not thought of that that connection. Also, somebody texted in Steelers Houston ? That does happen in Houston. Houston will host the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know that because the family on my wife's side is trying to figure out the Texans part and the Steelers part, trying to figure out if they want to go together to the game. And I've already told them, if y'all want me to go, I will go.
Yeah.
But all y'all Houston people got to understand, I'm a Cowboys fan. And I hate y'all more than I hate them. So I might show up and root for the black and yellow. I'm just warning you now.
Damn.
Yeah, I don't like
just because it's Houston?
Yeah, I've never been able to root for those pro-Houston teams. I can't do it. Can't do it. I've told my wife there's a short list of teams that if you want me to go to Steelers versus that team, I'll wear your stuff and I'll root for the Steelers. This is just me being the goofy outsider I've always been, but it's a certain list. It can't be just anybody. The Texans are on the list, though.
I would get if the Oilers back in the day and the Texans were winning championships and stuff, but they weren't. They haven't.
Yeah.
Y'all were.
Yeah.
So where's this pettiness coming from? I get being a Rockets hater. They won with Dream and stuff.
That's tough. Yeah,
I get being the Astros hater. We've seen what they've done the last 6 years.
Yeah.
But the Texans, though?
Hey.
Damn, that's some serious hate.
First game still stings. Elephants never forget. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, Derek Carr, babe. Was that Derek Carr versus Quincy Carter? Please don't tell me that's what it was. That was the matchup.
See, there's no reason for you to young guy this whole thing. First of all, his name is David Carr.
David Carr, excuse me, David.
And I do not recall who the Cowboys quarterback was that night. I am not going back to look. You can all go back and look if you want. I don't know.
I hope it wasn't Quincy.
I don't know. Somebody just texted, that's the Aggie in you. Yeah, maybe. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. You're right. All right. Let's get into the crap bag here because somebody's parent list got a little more interesting overnight.
Chad's crap bag.
Crap bag. If you need an easy way to remember it, just think of a bag of crap.
Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. So I'm going to take everybody back a little bit to the early 2000s, kind of where we just were, talking about the Cowboys and the Texans playing for the first time. But when I was covering women's basketball for Texas, I remember an Oklahoma team where they had, I think it was 4 different players with famous dads. They had the Paris twins that were, I think they were Bubba Paris's girls. I think that's right.
I remember the Paris twins.
Famous Oklahoma football player. Ben Roethlisberger's daughter was on that team as like a reserve. And then they had one of the Dreams kids, Hakeem Olajuwon. And I remember thinking, God, that's got to be a crazy little meeting when you bring the family together and it's that many famous folks.
Did Ben Roethlisberger have children when he was 12 years old?
I'm sorry, not children. His sister. My bad. I'm sorry. Not kids. No, sister.
All right. I know he's done some wild stuff.
Sorry. No. It was either a younger sister or like a niece, one of the two.
Yeah, because Ben's track record, you can't be throwing that out.
You're right. My bad, Ben. My bad, Ben, if you're out there. So I don't let me start some internet story. So I thought of that team when I saw this story about USC. So if you don't know, the head coach at USC is Andy Enfield. Zay, wasn't he that dude that was running Florida Gulf Coast back in the day? Is that Enfield, or was he? It's a different team.
I don't recognize that name.
He was at a smaller school and then got the USC gig out of it. I thought he was the Florida Gulf Coast guy, but maybe I'm not.
That would make sense.
FC, what is the Florida Gulf?
I mean, I'm going to the very reliable Wikipedia.
Oh, of course, you got to check that.
Yeah.
F-
Yeah, he was Florida Gulf Coast.
Yes, okay, gotcha. So I had that part right. So Andy goes to USC. Now, he already had our man Chris Bennett reached out and said, hey, Chad, that's some squad your co-host is part of. Again, remember, this Isaiah Collier that I work with every day is the Isaiah Thomas spelling. It is not the biblical spelling. The biblical spelling is Isaiah Collier, the stud basketball player, 5-star that's about to go to USC.
Yep.
So I don't know if his parents are famous or whatever, but they do have some competition because you probably already heard Bronny James has committed to USC. So LeBron is now a dad, a basketball dad that Andy Enfield has to deal with. And now, Zay, he has added another one in the last couple days because DJ Rodman is a USC Trojan.
Wow.
Whoa. Is right. Apparently this is a transfer. He was somewhere else. I think he was
Washington State.
Okay, there you go. I was going to say he's somewhere out west and was so he's just switching in the Pac-12. So there's going to be a transfer situation, but DJ Rodman is going to USC. Have you watched him play? Do you know how good he is?
Not at all.
Because I haven't seen him play at all.
Nope, just a 6'6", 22 years old. I don't think he rebounds like Pops. But...
Oh, you don't think? You can take the think out of that. You know he doesn't rebound like Pops.
But yeah, he's probably pretty good.
Dude, can you imagine trying to run the security for those games? You got LeBron coming in, got to find a seat for him, and then Rodman showing up with all the piercings and the look and the thing and his vibe. You got to figure out how to make sure everybody stays safe at those games. Good grief.
I wonder how the son of Dennis Rodman would be. Like, that's my father. I'm listening to this guy. You used to wear dresses, bruh. Man, not anything wrong with that. Some people wear dresses. That's cool. But
when he was wearing those dresses, nobody out rebounded him.
That's true. And he was getting a lot of women wearing those dresses. A lot of A-list women.
That's right. Yeah, son, don't let him tell you can't date whoever you want when you wear dresses, because I wore dresses and I dated Madonna.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I got Carmen Electra.
Carmen Electra. Do you need to see the rest of the list? Okay. Let's go.
Yo mama.
Yo mama.
Whoever's mama. His mama might be someone famous.
Might be. Yeah, right. Exactly. DJ Rodman to USC. So that will be a fun story to follow in college basketball. Nowadays, it's only a 1-year story. So follow closely because it's not going to last very long. I don't think Bronny James is a lifer at USC. Is that fair?
Yeah, pretty fair.
That's a one and gone?
Yeah.
One and absolute.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Okay. There you go. Some crap bag for you on this Thursday. Up next, let's talk NBA. The All-NBA teams were announced, and a couple of guys, by being named to the All-NBA teams, can now get paid with a capital P. We'll tell you about that. Plus the 2 games tonight, one home team and one road team trying to end a series and head to the conference finals. That is coming up. Also in the flex segment today, we're going to talk NIL and college hoops because there was a dude that really laid the truth out for all of us, and we need to acknowledge it. Plus later on in the show in our 2 o'clock hour, the great Mark Henry will hopefully be coming in studio and talking to us about the AEW event next week and his event, The Big Lift, that's helping USA Weightlifting Foundation raise some money as well. That's all coming up. Stay with us on a Thursday. This is The Horn. All right, let's go hour number 2 on a Thursday. Hope you're having a good one. NBA continues to provide all kinds of great entertainment. Also keeping an eye on hockey. Toronto woke up last night, won 2-1. Florida was about to sweep them. Florida still up 3-1 there. Edmonton beat Vegas. That's a 2-all series there. Tonight, New Jersey and Carolina. 3-1 Carolina. Hurricanes trying to advance. And the Dallas Stars got home ice back. Let's see if they can keep it in Game 6. They can go up 3-2 tonight if they can get a win. That's 8:30 on TNT. All the hockey is TNT tonight. All of the basketball is ESPN. Philly hosts Boston at 6:30. And Denver goes to Phoenix at 9. And that is all ESPN. So we'll get into the games. We will get into some all NBA teams. But also, this is not tonight's game, but it does add a little bit. Not that we need it anymore for this series, but we do have a little more to talk about. It's Chad and Zay on a Thursday. I'm Chad Hastings. He is Isaiah Collier. Real quick shout out to our guy Jeff Howe from horns247.com. Normally we talk to him at this time, but he's got a lot going on today. Shout out to his daughter as well. Charlotte graduated. That's not maybe the word, but that's what they say. She graduated from preschool to kindergarten.
Oh, that's big time.
Come on now. Because if you haven't seen the kids that age in the caps and gowns, that may be the cutest thing on earth. So congrats to Charlotte, and nice job there, Jeff Howe, being the girl dad and getting that done today. Plus, he has some Horns 24/7 stuff to deal with. So check out horns247.com. Check out all their podcasts, including the Longhorn Blitz podcast. We've got the replay for you on air tonight at 7 right here on the Horn.
Yeah, Jeff Howe, being the former offensive lineman that he was tough. He was an all-district offensive lineman.
Heck yeah.
But when it comes to his daughter, he's just a big, soft teddy bear.
Heck yeah. I know that one personally. It is a powerful, powerful thing, that girl dad stuff.
Yeah. You see the toughest guys in the world. They have that daughter and everything goes out the window. Like, what? You played in the NFL for 15 years? And
right.
You ain't like this, but, man, that's the baby girl.
No doubt. Yeah. I wasn't even super tough to start with, and you saw what I wore to Harry Styles. I'll girl dad it all day long, man. All right, so we will get started with some basketball. There's a lot of different angles here, but, Zay, let's get to the drama angle, the soap opera angle, because nobody does it like the NBA. Tomorrow night will be Game 6. Lakers trying to close the door, and not that he needs it, but LeBron may have a little bit of an extra chip on the shoulder by tomorrow night.
Yeah, we briefly talked about Steve Kerr. Well, we definitely talked about in the first segment, Steve Kerr throwing out there that the Lakers are doing a lot of flopping, which results the Warriors getting called for a ton of offensive screens. So LeBron, he made a statement saying, we don't work on flopping. We're just not a team that goes out there and looking for flopping opportunities. It's just not us. It's never been. There's actually never been any teams that I've played on in 20 years where we've been a flopping team. And with that statement, Jermichael Green from the Warriors, he put it on his Instagram story with a blue baseball cap emoji. And for you old heads out there, the slang for cap means you're lying.
Okay.
So, for example,
that blue cap means...
Yeah, blue cap means you're lying. For example, man, ain't no way Wilt Chamberlain banged 50,000 women back in the day. That's cap. Big cap.
Okay. All right.
Something like that. Something you don't believe in, something that's false, fabricated, a lie, you say he capping or that's cap.
Gotcha.
So the capping emoji means Jermichael Green thinks LeBron is lying.
Quick OCD question to help me and all the old people. Does it have to be a blue cap? Can it be any cap? What's the origin of the cap itself?
It could be any cap.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just checking.
What a question.
That's not the dumbest question ever, is it?
Are we talking about the picture?
Yeah, I'm looking at this picture. I see a blue cap.
Yeah, that's just the emoji.
Okay.
From, you don't have an iPhone, so you're a little out the loop.
There's no reason to make me extra old in this discussion. So is the cap normally blue when you see people getting the cap treatment? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But
you just want to see any.
It
as
can
long
be
as
yellow.
the cap was there, you know what he's talking about.
Fair
you know
enough.
what he's saying. Oh, LeBron lying. Which I watched LeBron these 20 years. He's flopped a tad. A lot, actually.
Okay, but this idea of it's just a little far to go to me on both sides. One, now for Steve Kerr to talk about wanting the NBA to take a look at it, and for him to bring up soccer, that's a bridge too far. Stop.
Did he say soccer for real?
He made a FIBA reference,
Woo.
which you can't deal with.
Steve, you played with Manu.
Sorry,
you know that, right?
He made a FIBA reference. I don't know if he went to FIFA, but yeah. Well, he's talking about FIBA, the international basketball.
Okay.
I don't think he actually went as far as that, but it felt like he was pushing towards something like soccer. We don't want to go that far.
All right.
But the other thing is, with LeBron saying we're not a team that works on flop. I don't think anybody's accusing anybody of in practice working on it. All right, guys, let's go to the flop drill. I don't think that's happening. So, but I probably would warn a guy like, now JaMychal Green, what was it, a couple games ago he had an all right game?
He had a really good game too.
Okay.
The game that they won.
Of all the Warriors that would do something in social media that might fire LeBron up, focus LeBron in, whatever, a la what Brooks did in that last series, should it be Green? This Green.
If I'm Steph, Clay, Draymond, I'm salty that he did this because he's not playing at this point. Like, they're not playing him very much because now they're going with GP2. So after he got embarrassed in Game 3, Steve Kerr went a different route, and we've seen in Game 4, 5, probably 6 and 7, Gary Payton II got inserted into the lineup. So for him to say this on the bench to arguably the greatest of all time, I don't care if he's in year 20, gimp ankle or not. I don't care where Anthony Davis is. You got no right, bruh. You got no right saying this stuff. And if LeBron goes crazy and they lose, everybody's going to look at this.
Yeah, this is the guy that just put the cap emoji on LeBron. Do you know what emoji he got last time? It's not even an emoji. It's actually an acronym. DNP.
He didn't play?
DNP. I pulled up the box just to check it. Last night, he did not play. Coach's decision. Come on, dude.
So weak. That's so weak.
What are we doing?
You better hope that LeBron saw it. You know he's seen it.
You know he did.
You know he's seen it.
Of course he saw that. And if Anthony Davis is ready to go and they're in L.A. and they get Anthony Davis going early and they get some contributions from those other guys, it was already going to be a fantastic game to watch. Now we'll just see how this thing, adds an ingredient. But tonight we'll get to those two matchups. Zay, you want to get to these All-NBA teams? They were announced yesterday.
Yeah, I do. Let's get it.
So we got a first, second, and third team in the All-NBA teams. We'll work our way from the bottom. LeBron makes history. He has made 19 All-NBA teams in a row at some level.
It's incredible.
That's nuts.
It's absolutely incredible. And a lot of people say he probably didn't deserve to make it, which that's a fair argument. He only played 50-something games this year. They made a new law next season that you have to play a minimum 65 games to make any of these lists.
Okay.
And to get awards.
What is it now? 50?
50 maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But he played 50-something, but he had 29 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists. In year 20, that's ridiculous.
And at his age, like all throughout this season, they had those stats about his average, those 3 stats, points, rebounds, assists, were like the best he's ever had in his career at some points.
Yeah.
To do it at this age, it's crazy.
Yeah. And right now, he's not 100%. He is dealing with that ankle injury that he hurt versus the Mavs right after the All-Star break when they got all their players and they were trying to get, make that playoff push because people forget they started 2-10 to start the season.
Right.
They were horrible.
They were bad.
The fact that they're here is very impressive and shows Darvin Ham, he's doing a pretty good job. But yeah, man, year 20, 19 times. The next most is 15. So I want to say that's Kareem.
You may be right.
Yeah.
As far as the consecutive.
Yeah, consecutive. I mean, it's one of the greatest, man. One of the greatest.
Didn't make an All-NBA team his very first year, but then everything after that. So it's LeBron, Sabonis, De'Aaron Fox, Damian Lillard, and Julius Randle as the third team. Got any issues there?
No, that sounds right.
That's good. I'm glad. I'm kind of happy for Randle there. Did you think he deserved that for the year he had?
I think Jalen Brunson was their best player, so I would have taken him out of there. If anybody could have got pulled, I would have pulled Julius Randle, and I don't know who I would have replaced them with. Maybe Devin Booker, because they do it by positions. So you have to have 2 forwards, 1 center, and 2 guards, which I hate.
Right.
It's so stupid. Just do the top 15 players for first and second team. Like, let's not. It's ridiculous that Joel Embiid was on 2 second teams last year because Nikola Jokic made it because he's the only center. That's so stupid.
Zay, they do that for us. We can only understand 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center. Don't just try to give us a regular list.
Like, it's kind of like what we talked about with the MLB All-Star Game. There's just some of these rules that make absolutely no sense.
Right.
Like, they just ride with. They just settle with them like, oh, I guess it's cool. Whatever.
Yeah, I still love that I'm 48, about to be 49 this year, and baseball still thinks a member of every team deserves to be in the All-Star game. That's one of the weirdest things they've ever done. And nobody cares, nobody worries about it. Like, you have to be an All-Star? Like, that makes no sense. Every team. And Randall last night, by the way, 24 points and huge 4 out of 7 from 3-point. I thought he was big. When he's in Madison Square Garden and shooting well and in a rhythm, it can look really impressive. The problem is when he gets to South Beach, it's going to look totally different.
Yeah.
He looks totally different when he gets somewhere else.
Yeah, Bam Adebayo and Kevin Love giving them fits.
Yeah.
And last night he finally got going because, people forget about Kevin Love. Kevin Love is physical down low. He will wear you down, like elbows to the side and stuff. He's not dirty. He's just an old school type of player that's been around for a long time. He is physical. And when you're getting down and dirty with him in the paint and stuff like that, Julius Randle don't want to do that. You want to get outside and shoot threes and play making stuff. And then you got to deal with Bam Adebayo. Yeah, I can see why he's struggling in this series a little bit.
Yeah, Love wasn't able to give him much last night, and Randall did have a good game. So that series obviously continues. So second team, all NBA. Steph would lead the way in terms of big names. You got Donovan Mitchell on the second team. Jokic is second team. Jimmy Butler is second team. And Jaylen Brown is second team. Zay, did you see what Jaylen Brown gets because he's second team?
Get paid.
Holy hell. He can go from, he was eligible for a 4-year, $189 million contract if he didn't get named All-NBA. Because he did get named All-NBA on one of the teams, he can now get a 5-year, $295 million max contract this summer, and if he signs it, he's the highest paid player in the league.
Wow.
That's for being named on one of these teams. So you can say it doesn't matter sometimes, but in these cases, they are focused on that, and I would be too.
Yeah, and think about, like, him not missing many games for that fracture in his face. And that could have probably set him back. And he was like, no, just give me a mask.
Give me in.
I'm going to get paid.
That's it.
I'm going to get paid. Trust me.
Do you want the mask to be clear or black? I don't care.
Yeah, I don't care.
Give me
the mask that works. Let me keep playing in these games. And yeah, man, he's tough. He's one of the best two-way players in the league. That's why watching this series with the Sixers, it's very interesting that the Sixers have kind of figured out how to exploit them and just go at guys like Malcolm Brogdon and Derek White. As good as defenders that they are, it's tough to play against James Harden, who's playing that slow, methodical pace, going off pick and roll, and then going to Tyrese Maxey, who's going at you 100 miles per hour. And obviously they're struggling with it, but yeah, Jaylen Brown, I love his game. I've always loved his game. I always thought it was weird because he was a McDonald's All-American, top 5 player in the nation coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, and he chose Cal Berkeley. Not really a destination for high-level NBA talent if you're trying to get to the league. Like, to go to Cal Berkeley, he's a very smart guy. If you heard him talk, very smart, very articulate and stuff, so that makes sense. But, yeah, he just thinks different. He operates different. His game is different. He's still smooth, but he has a certain smooth awkwardness to it that get a lot of people off guard. He's going to have a huge one tonight if they want to go back to Beantown and force a Game 7.
Somebody texted us, it matters. Just ask Ja Morant about the $40 million he lost. He's on the other side. He had a bonus ready to go of about $39 million, and he didn't get it because he didn't get named to these teams.
Because he was thugging. He was out here thugging in these streets, wilding.
Yeah.
Like, relax. Just go do what you do in the commercial. Gym, home. Tuesday, gym, home, getting up reps. He didn't do that. He had all the controversy. He had all the issues. He missed the games. He got suspended and stuff like that. And yeah, if you know that, okay, I make an all-NBA team. I'm going to get this bread. That should be motivation for you to not act the fool.
Yeah, you'd think.
Right?
You would think. So he doesn't get the money. Jaylen Brown is now in line to get the money, and so is his teammate. The NBA All-First team is Embiid, Tatum, Giannis, Luka, and SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Jason Tatum now is eligible for a 5-year, $318 million max in 24. So after this next season, so if the Celtics want both of them, wow, they're going to have to pay a ton of money in luxury tax and all of that. Congrats to Tatum and Jaylen Brown for that. And also congrats to Gilgeous-Alexander. I thought that was cool that he ended up first team.
Yeah, him and Luka, they're first team caliber, but when you don't make the playoffs, I don't think you deserve first team. There should be a rule. If your team doesn't make the playoffs, you don't deserve first team, because how big of an impact are you? For Shai, I'm a little bit more lenient for him than Luka, because Luka, you had Kyrie Irving and y'all got worse. Shai, they were the second pick in the draft in 2022, Chet Holmgren, and he didn't even play this year. He got hurt.
Right.
So they basically had the same team from last year. They drafted well. They got both Williams guys, but still, Shai to do what he did and almost get there, at least they were in the play-in. Luka, he wasn't even in the play-in. So I don't understand that. I would like to put Luka, even though he dropped 32 points a game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists. Those are first-team numbers, but I would have given it to Donovan Mitchell, whose team got 4th seed in the Eastern Conference, while Donovan Mitchell just got to that team, so he's trying to get acclimated and stuff, and he definitely did that, averaging 28 points a game this year. So, yeah, there are a couple of snubs. There are a couple of guys that maybe weren't as deserving, but at the end of the day, the NBA, they got about 85% right.
All right, well, that's good. That's a pretty good percentage. Speaking of that first team, Zay, 2 of the guys are obviously involved tonight, Embiid and Tatum, I just mentioned. So Boston at Philly tonight. Philadelphia is going to ring that bell. Are they going to finish this series at home tonight? What do you think?
I hope not. Not because I'm a Philly hater, just because I love Game 7.
You want your 7.
There's no 2 words greater than Game 7. I don't know who said that, but they were right. And, yeah, man, just Doc Rivers making those adjustments, getting Embiid into those short jump shot situations, those mid-range situations where he doesn't have to, run into Al Horford or Robert Williams. And if he's knocking that jumper down, he's tough to guard, because now once he hits a couple of those jumpers, you close out a little bit more, then Embiid gets to show why he's the MVP and show that nice handle of his and get to the rack and be that versatile center that we know and love. But you gotta have Brogdon come through. You gotta have Marcus Smart. Al Horford can't go 0 for 7. You can't.
No, that was terrible.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
And if you see that, Joe Mazzulla, get him out the game. Like, Grant Williams needs to play way more, because Grant Williams can guard Embiid a little bit, and when Al Horford's just missing, he doesn't give you nothing really. I mean, his defense is all right, but I'd rather have Grant Williams in there when Al isn't working, and obviously Robert Williams too. But yeah, Malcolm Brogdon, Derek White, Jason Tatum clearly, Jaylen Brown clearly, all of them have to be big tonight, and they got to slow down Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about Maxey. Everybody talks about those other 2 guys, but we hit Maxey yesterday. If you're Boston, you're back in Philly for this one. They're trying to close it at home. Maxey is at home. How do you stop him? What do you do?
I put Jaylen Brown on him.
Okay.
Just give him some length.
You're going to ask Tatum to do some extra scoring on the offensive end, and you're going to ask Brown to do a little more defensively.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not a lot, but when he gets going full speed and they throw it to him on an outlet pass and he gets running, he's so tough to stop.
It's freaky, dude.
Because he'll just pull up on the dime, and he'll have that same form running full speed on, transition threes that he does on catch and shoot. That's one of the hardest things to do, to have that type of discipline, to shoot that same shot every time, whether he's off balance going to the left, to the right. It's still that smooth form. And yeah, if he doesn't lack confidence, that's for sure.
No.
He's going to hoist them up.
Yeah.
And this season, Doc kind of flirted with him being a starter and him coming off the bench. He didn't really know where he could put him, because you want the ball in James Harden's hands so much, it kind of takes away from what James could do when he gets cooking. But they figured it out. I'm good with James Harden getting around 18 and 10 and Maxey going around 25. I like that.
Yeah, he gave him 30 in that last game.
Yeah.
In Boston.
Yeah, and they're terrified that James Harden's capable of getting 40 because he's done it twice, and they won both
Right.
games.
Yeah.
So who do you focus on? If you're Joe Mazzulla and you're writing on the drawing board for the scouting report, what's the focus? I don't know where you start. You have this obvious Joel Embiid, but he's not 100%. It's the former MVP, so that makes sense. But do you go with a guy that only in NBA history is a 3-time scoring champ and a 2-time assist leader, and now you got to worry about Maxey?
I think
it's tough.
I think he starts where you ultimately started, which is of those guys, you can't let Embiid just absolutely wear you out. Because those are going to be shorter shots. It's going to be higher percentage stuff, and then he can get others involved off of it. If you have to pick one of those poisons, it's got to be an outside kind of poison. And in the end, you may have to say, you know what, James, if you can hit those kind of shots over and over and over again from out there, we may have to deal with it. We may have to just eat that part of it. But I'd start with Embiid.
Yeah.
Make sure Embiid doesn't hurt you. All right, before we hit the break, give me a thought on this Western Conference game. Denver on the road trying to finish Durant and the group at Durant's place. No Chris Paul, right, for Game 6 for sure?
Yeah.
I believe I heard he is out. So does Denver finish this tonight? I know you hope they don't, but do you think they finish it?
They got a good shot, man. They got a good shot. Kind of the same with the Philadelphia 76ers and the Celtics. Like, who do you focus on? Because Nikola Jokic is going to get his regardless.
Yeah.
No matter if you double team him, triple team him, he's going to get his in some sort of fashion, whether that's 40 points or 30 and 15.
See, this one feels slightly different to me, where this one I would say you can't let Murray go crazy. Because Murray's crazy is a little more varied to me than James Harden's crazy.
Right.
If Murray gets going, he could end up with 48 from everywhere.
Yeah, but Aaron Gordon could have been an all-star this year. He was snubbed. Michael Porter Jr. has one of the purest jumpers in the association. He hit 5 huge threes last game, and he did not play well in those 3 and 4 games in Phoenix. And you're right, Murray, when he gets going, it's a scary type of get going if you're a Phoenix Suns fan. But yeah, like we've seen throughout the second round with the Suns and the Nuggets, in order for the Suns to win, Book and KD, they have to have over 35 points. That's what I said. They got to combine for 70 or more.
35 plus for both.
That's all. That's what they have to do. Book has to go for maybe 40. KD has to go for over 35.
You're probably right.
That's a lot. And that's a big reason why I don't think they might not be able to get it done tonight. I'm praying for a Game 7, but if I were to choose who's not going to force a Game 7 tonight, I would say it's the Suns.
Yep.
And I hate that because Chris Paul, I feel so bad for him. One of the greatest point guards of all time. And this was the best chance they had. I mean, 2021 when they went to the finals, but you're going up against Giannis in his prime and Jrue Holiday and Chris Middleton when he wasn't washed. Now you got Kevin Durant, Booker's playing on a superstar level, and he gets hurt again.
Yeah.
And people are talking, which is very valid, are they better without CP3? Because they've been playing better without him because they're playing a lot faster pace. And he slows them down. And he doesn't give them the defensive IQ that he used to do because he just has too many miles on his body. So I feel really bad for Chris Paul. If they lose tonight, then that front office has some serious questions about what they're going to do with him going into year 19.
Going to be fun to watch Durant and Booker tonight and just see how much they will have to produce and see what they're ready to do. Denver on the road trying to finish, Philly at home trying to finish. Everything is ESPN tonight in the NBA. Coming up, more of your text rolling in on the Specs text line 337-3776. Plus, let's talk NIL and college hoops. The center at Kansas said what about NIL? Oh, if you missed this one, it's a great quote, and it's scary too. We'll give it to you next on The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
All right, rolling through a Thursday. Man, there are two very different ideas in my head right now. I'm going to go with the first thing I thought. Weezer.
From half court.
Yeah, okay. Whew. The first thing.
Nice.
That was the first thing. It had a little bit of that Red Hot Chili Pepper vibe to it.
Definitely.
But I know that my man from Weezer, he is a talented dude. He can sound like a lot of things. I don't think he gets enough credit for the varied quality of his voice. Weezer, what's it called? Oh, wait.
Say it ain't so.
There it is. I knew it as you were saying it now. Say it ain't so. Weezer, Spiral Staircase, and Taylor Dayne. Weezer's going to play Coda later this year. My man Rick hits me up last night and he says, hey, you want to go see Weezer? I'm like, I don't know.
Yo, after this?
What are tickets? And he goes, well, I think I got a deal. I can get them for like 25.
Yeah.
I said, 25?
Yeah.
I might need to go see Weezer. So I think we're going to go check out Weezer later in the year. That's a talented band, just a cool, like, garagey, Midwestern-y feel rock band, and I love the lead singer. So I've never seen them live, so I'll go check it out.
Yeah, they always rock, like, bowling shirts and stuff.
Yeah, they're very, like, it's that nerdy,
Right.
white garage rock. Educated rock is what it feels like to me. Guys that you're probably way smarter than you are.
Yeah.
Kind of rock.
I dig it.
Yeah. Weezer's got some good sound to them, and I've heard it's a great live show. So they are coming to Coda later on if you want to check them out. I think Weezer is sometime in June if you want to check your calendars.
Where are they from?
Weezer
The Cali guys, right?
they may be from out there. They feel Midwestern to me, but you may be right. Let's look up Weezer real quick. The rock band. You're right, L.A.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1992. Forming out there in California. Yeah, they're a California band to me that feels like they should be from Michigan. That's just the vibe I get from them sometimes. All right, so a lot of good music, as always, on the show today. A lot of good basketball talk, football talk, because it is NFL scheduled day. Cowboys fans, Niners, Cowboys, we know that's October 8th. There's talk that the Cowboys and Washington will be Thanksgiving. I don't think that one has been officially announced yet, but we're hearing a rumor out of Washington. Some of the Commanders folks that cover them are saying that that's going to be Thanksgiving, so that may be the case. San Francisco and Philly will play in December. Kansas City, Detroit is your Thursday night opener, and the Jets and Buffalo, first Monday night game. And shout out to one of our listeners who reminded us that is 9/11. So the fact that it will be those two New York teams does probably make sense there, as they will be paying tribute to 9/11 on that Monday night. And so we'll see if that's the only game we end up with on that Monday. Tonight at 7 is when the full schedule comes out. You can check where your team's going to be. You can go think about your tickets and hotels and stuff like that if you're going to go check out an NFL game. Longhorn Blitz podcast tonight at 7 for you Longhorn football freaks, and Instant Serious at 8 o'clock tonight. Also, remember, if you head over to hornfm.com, you can find the page, you can find the link to The Big Lift with Mark Henry, benefiting the USA Weightlifting Foundation. We're going to talk to Mark at 2 o'clock. Hopefully, he'll be able to get in studio with us. He had a dentist appointment earlier today, so hopefully that goes well, and he'll be able to get here by 2, and they're doing a really cool event at the Hotel Van Zant coming next Friday, May 19th. Go to hornfm.com for more details. We'll talk to Mark in the 2 o'clock hour. All right, let's get into this crazy NIL comment. I thought it might fit in Flex today because the guys at the high school level, they're ultimately headed to this level. Wait till you hear this quote. Here we go.
Flex ATX for the best high school sports coverage. Listen to The Horn and go to FLXATX.com. Flex 30 is brought to you by Brain Vault. Brain Vault is a revolutionary and patented mouthguard that has been proven to help reduce the risk of concussion. Visit BrainVault.com and join the movement.
All right, Zay, this will lead us back around to the Longhorn stories about Holland and Johnson and the fact that these big 5 stars ultimately, I guess, left Texas at the altar or whatever you want to say. But ultimately, they went for different opportunities and, maybe not specifically for NIL in each case, but really does speak to the landscape out there. You may have recently heard that Kansas not only ends up with Arterio Morris, they ended up with a center named Hunter Dickinson. Hunter was at Michigan and had been at Michigan for, at least a couple of years?
Felt like 3.
Right? Maybe it is 3. And he'd been a big dog there, been very good for Michigan. So he picks Kansas, and he was being asked about, on a podcast, he was asked about kind of his situation, why making the choice and all that. By the way, he was AP All-American honorable mention, averaging 19 and 9 as a junior at Michigan. You're right. He was there 3 years. He says, quote, "The people hating on me would leave their job right now for a $10,000 increase. I got at Michigan less than 6 figures. I got less than 6 figures at Michigan for the year." End quote for now. Wow. There's some honesty.
I mean,
so is he telling me that the difference in Michigan and Kansas is all he needed was the $10,000 to get him over 100,000? Is that what am I doing that math right?
I guess
90 wasn't enough.
90 wasn't enough. Can you believe that? This is
Wow.
where we are. 90 million ain't enough. Like, is his ego that big? Because clearly it is.
I guess.
And he's saying that he's selfish too.
He-
So at least
yes.
he owns up to it.
He is admitting his own selfishness. He says, I do still love Michigan, love everything about it, love the program. That's why it was so hard to leave, because I really didn't want to leave. I didn't, but I just felt like, man, it was the best decision for me. Took a lot of courage. I don't think people realize how much courage it took. For a guy who was there for 3 years, an All-American for the team, I did have a legacy there, and I basically gave that up to try to be selfish and do what's best for me and my career. Now, not what's best for anybody else's career. Went on to say, I think it's the best place for me. It checks all the boxes. Worst case scenario, it still works out fine for me at Kansas. Wow.
Yeah. And you talk about Ron Holland or Arterio Morris, especially Arterio Morris going up to Kansas, and I bet you he's getting a little bit more coin than he got down here. And you look at Michigan and the University of Texas, very synonymous with each other by being football universities that take pride in their other athletics.
Mm-hmm.
But football comes first.
Football is the king.
And it's not even close.
Right.
It's not even close. Even though we take pride
Sure.
in it, it's
not it's not DKR and it's not the big house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like those are monumental, just football in Michigan, football in Texas. It's different. So for Hunter Dickinson, you're not getting paid and you're not getting the publicity that you're going to get at Kansas, because you walk around Ann Arbor, they're looking at the football players. They're looking at McCaffrey and what's the running back's name? Cohen? They're looking at those guys.
Uh-huh.
Those are the stars. Hunter Dickinson, you ain't that. I don't care if you're an honorable All-American, you're not that. When's football season coming around?
The only guys that ever wore that uniform that were maybe the Fab Five.
Yes.
Maybe.
You're saying maybe too.
Maybe.
Exactly.
But it was probably close even then.
Yeah, because I want to say Desmond Howard and guys like Charles Woodson, they were there in the 90s too.
Yeah, you're right.
Those teams were serious. So, and then when you go to Lawrence, you're the man now. Everybody's looking at you. Nobody's worried about the football team, even though they did well this past season. Nobody cares. It's about winning championships. This is the mecca of college basketball. James Naismith, all that, Wilt Chamberlain, all of that. And you about to make more money than what you did there?
Right.
You can't knock the kid.
Fog Allen's name's on the outside, James Naismith's name's on the floor, and Wilt's numbers in the rafters.
Yeah, and then you can say the same thing about Arterio Morris. Like, I don't really know how to go from there. When you look at Arterio, you're like, okay, but he could have been a player here. He could have got all this, ticking stuff. Arterio wanted to be a point guard. And if Tyrese Hunter comes back, which we should know about that in the next few days or so, according to Coach Terry, talking to the media and stuff. But we see Kendall Weaver, he came in. We got Max Asmus, he came in. So all those guys could run point at different times. Where would Arterio Morris run the point? which he's going to have those same issues at Kansas and even more so with the talent that they got. But still, you're getting more bread than what you got here. So, like, yeah, it's hard to knock these guys. And I'm glad I salute Hunter Dickerson for admitting it.
Yeah,
a lot of guys won't say that.
Right. That is some honesty right there. And to admit that he's being selfish. In a way, I first read that and I thought, does that end up hurting him in the locker room? And I thought, well, the honesty might not, because he'll look him dead in the face and say, hey, man, I'm going to try to be as good a teammate as I can and all that. But, hey, I'm making a decision about me like I'm hoping you made the decision about you.
Yeah, what you going to say to him? Like, y'all chose Kansas for a reason?
Right.
Y'all didn't choose this place because Lawrence is a fun town to be in? You kidding me? Like, that's not why you chose to come here. You know what I'm saying? You came here to hoop at the highest level and play for arguably the best coach in college basketball currently, and hopefully win a national championship and do something special.
Yeah, man. Keep your eyes on that team for next season.
And
get paid. No doubt about it. Thought that might fit into the flex segment today, because obviously we got a lot of folks we talk about, in our area, flex athletes and everything, but we had talked about Holland and Johnson and the big time 5 stars, and NIL, a big part of the discussion, obviously, as you transition from high school to college, and in this case, transitioning from one college to another, because that second college may have a little bit more money. So keep your eyes out there for Hunter Dickinson. Also, check out flexatx.com or at FLXATX on your socials. For last night's Wednesday night flex show, they had Braden Buchanan on from Vandegrift. They had the head coach of the Georgetown baseball team that's trying to go back-to-back state champs. And congrats, best of luck to all the baseball teams that are into the next round. That Westlake Round Rock matchup, I'm told, is 1 round away. 1 round away. If each one of them can get by this week, it'll be Westlake and Round Rock next week. But first things first, they both have to win 2 out of 3. Best of luck to those teams. I believe, that Georgetown team that I mentioned, they're still involved. I think McCallum is still in it, and there's some others. So shout out to all those baseball teams that are still in the playoffs, and they get started tonight. Hopefully the rain will allow them to finish their 2 out of 3s.
It must be a weird feeling because school's almost out, and I feel like a lot of these games that go to the state championship and stuff, school's done.
Yep.
So these guys are like graduated but still playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting to me. I know we see it at the college level, guys graduate and stuff like that, and they end up playing for an extra year and so. But on the high school level, knowing that, hey, I've graduated, but I'm still with my guys. I'm still with my friends. We have a chance to make history. I think that's always pretty cool.
That's what you want at the high school and college level. You want to get past that end of school graduation, and then how long can we go?
Right.
Can we go to the very end? If you're in college, you want to go all the way into June, and in this case, you're right. You want to get into continue into May, and I guess they go almost to June with the championships there. All right, coming up at 2:05, we're going to talk to the great Mark Henry from AEW and USA Weightlifting Foundation. We'll talk about his event next week, the AEW event that's coming to town on the 17th as well. I will try not to fanboy on too much pro wrestling, but come on, it's Mark Henry coming in studio. I mean, what are you going to do? Up next, where we at in society? We'll see what Zay wants to talk about. There's a lot out there on a Thursday. The NBA, I got a lot of letters in my head right now. The NBA is all on ESPN tonight, and the hockey and NHL, that's all on TNT. There's so much going on. Dallas Stars tonight at 8:30. So we're talking about a lot of it today. Jump in on the Specs text line if you want, 337-3776. This is The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Oh, there you go. Come on now. This one takes you back. All the way back to the 80s. Hungry Like the Wolf, Duran Duran?
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
Yeah. Another band that's out on tour this year. That's a good show. If you like Duran Duran, good show. I checked that out a few years ago. They're coming back with Nile Rodgers and Chic opening up. That's a great show from start to finish. If that is your thing, Duran Duran was even better than I thought they would be live. Duran Duran, Weezer, Spiral Staircase, and Taylor Dane have all been on the show today. Tomorrow, in our album swap discussion, we'll go 105 tomorrow and move it to Friday. We'll talk A Tribe Called Quest and Metallica in the album swap. We have one listener that hit us earlier in the week when we mentioned those two albums, and they said, yeah, those are both great albums. So we have now each listened to the album we had not heard, and we'll talk about those tomorrow. Mark Henry coming up at 2:05. Again, go to hornfm.com for the very latest. You can go there to check out the AEW tickets for the event next Wednesday, or you can go to hornfm.com to check out The Big Lift, the event that Mark's a part of next week to raise money for the USA Weightlifting Foundation. They are celebrating weightlifting as a foundation for all sports, and there's going to be all kinds of different athletes there. You get the hosted full bar dining experience, the interaction with Olympians and other celebrated sports figures. So we're going to get Mark hopefully to tell us today if there's any names he can reveal, so you'll know exactly what you're dealing with in case you're looking for tickets.
Okay.
There you go. I've heard some good names, but I want to let Mark give those out to you today. I heard a big-time name in the Olympic world I think everybody will know, big-time name in the wrestling world I think everybody will know, and two names in the Longhorn world that I think everybody's going to be excited about. So that's all coming up at 2:05. Right now, we got a lot of good text rolling in on the Specs text line. I did like this one. Somebody said, when we were talking about the money that Tatum and Brown of the Celtics got for getting on the All-NBA team, but then all that money that Ja Morant lost, they just gave the simple version of, that is the most expensive trip to the strip club ever. $40 million. You can talk about what you lost at the strip club. Now Ja Morant might be able to talk about $40 million he lost at the strip club.
Stupid, man.
Now that's rough.
Just having the gun in the video. No reason.
That is tough. All right, let's get into where we at in society. See what Zay wants to talk about today.
Where are we at in society today?
We got some more NBA drama out there?
Nah, we got a two for one.
Okay.
Because we have to talk about this story. So let's run through them quick.
All right.
First, where we at topic today. Podcaster Josh Neighbors gets fired because on his show, just like the show that you and I are currently doing, he has his own with other people. He thought it was okay to play Bob Huggins' comments unedited.
Whoo! Now, wait a minute. Is this on air or are you saying it's on a podcast?
On air enough for him to get fired. So it's not just like his podcast that he's doing individually.
Because if it's an individual podcast, that might be a different discussion. If it's truly on air on a radio show.
He has a show.
Yeah, that's not good. Might want to edit that, dude.
Yeah, you think?
Come on, man. Edit those F words if you can.
Yeah. Then he had the nerve to try to justify it, Chad. He said, I made the conscious decision to play Bob Huggins' comments in its entirety and without censoring and slurs that he used. I did it because I thought it was important to play and get the full context of what he had said.
Ooh.
I'm pretty sure we get it without you playing it. I'm pretty sure if we edited out the beeps that y'all hear when I play all these ridiculous things that we play, the beeps, I'm pretty sure the people out there, I know there's some of y'all that are a little slow, y'all know some of y'all are a little slow, but most of them, I'm pretty sure they get it.
I always love when someone uses the phrase in context and they're not using it correctly. It's so bizarre. When you're like, I just thought it was important for the context. That's not what context is. That's really not. It's not. That's not what it is.
Oh, just a bad move.
Oh,
what
yeah,
an idiot.
That's not good, man.
Yeah. I mean, I don't like people losing their jobs, but that's the last thing that was on my mind. Coming in here running the board was playing it.
Yeah, right. If we had even thought about playing it, obviously we would have edited that. And because we are now to a time, there was probably a time where that word could end up on a sports talk radio show. But 2023, not that time.
No.
You got to realize it. There's a lot of sensitivity out there. There's a lot of, there's a lot of respect that people are trying to have about a lot of situations. And despite the fact that probably still gets thrown around and joked about maybe in a locker room here and there, I wouldn't put it out on the radio. So, yeah, that's not a good move.
Bad move, Josh. You'll get
tough.
back on your feet, though, hopefully. We'll
That's
see.
tough.
I
That's
don't know.
tough. All right.
All right. So moving on, topic number 2. Now, this is really interesting.
Okay.
Our favorite women's college basketball team besides the Texas Longhorns, LSU.
Oh, they're such a show.
For obvious reasons. Angel Reese getting that 1-point-something million for the NIL deal for Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. They just got Haley Van Lift. I mean, we know Flau'jae Johnson likes to rap. A lot is going on.
Yeah.
And one of them is in trouble.
Okay.
Flau'jae Johnson just mentioned she likes to rap. She is signed with Rock Nation. That's Jay-Z's label.
Yeah.
She is from Georgia. She's supposed to have, different features coming up with Lil Wayne, etc. She's making a name for herself, not just on the basketball court, but in front of the mic. Well, Flau'jae just put out a freestyle where some of the lyrics were very insensitive, to say the least. This girl thought it was a good idea to use this lyric in this 9/11 blowing smoke just like the towers. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Now,
I see it two different ways here. I see it like the towers or like those towers, but obviously it's basically the same thing there.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Now, people don't know a 911's a Porsche. So she's saying she's in the 911 blowing smoke. I guess that's the Chronic.
Right.
So in the 911 blowing smoke, but she could have said anything.
Now, okay. This is not that I'm trying to defend it here, but is it possible that these two ideas crossed up? That she happens to be talking about a Porsche 911 and she's actually making a reference to like smoke coming out of a factory.
No.
Or something.
I mean,
is there any chance? Especially, you said it was freestyle. This was literally just top of head,
so
or
back in the day, that's freestyles used to be top of the head. Nowadays, it's always written. It's always thought out.
That's the only thing I could think of that might get her out of it. But otherwise, that's a tough one.
So it's very tough. She needs to be better. But people got to remember, she's an 03 baby. She's only 19 years old. So 9/11 didn't affect her that much.
That's an interesting point.
She didn't grow up in it like a lot of us did. Like, I remember where I was in 5th grade that day.
Of course.
We all do, who was a part of it. But for her, not being born till 2 years later, she doesn't know the war aspect of it, all that. I don't think she's educated to where she feels the pain that we all do when we think of that day.
Yeah, I had not thought of that angle, but I think that's an interesting way to look at it too, because if you're not a part of it, to know about it is one thing, but if you weren't around, if you weren't, I wasn't alive when JFK was assassinated, so people that were think of it differently. Like my parents being the age they were in 1963, it hits them differently when they think about it. If they heard someone joke about it, just that many years later or whatever, what are we, 20? Good grief, 22 years away? Is it 22 years, really? I think I did that math right. Yeah, so 22 years after that, somebody that had just been born right after in, say, 1965 or something like that might be different. I hadn't thought of that part of it. In this day and age, I would suggest Flau'jae might want to work an apology. Just go right ahead. We're seeing a lot of artists say go back and change lyrics and try to be more sensitive to certain things. This one's pretty simple to me.
Yeah, and LSU has apologized. They had to go out and apologize. So who knows what she will do.
And that's easy.
It's very easy. But somebody on Specs text line is absolutely right. Biggie said it in Juicy back in 1994 about so does Caesar, Biggie Smalls speak, here, 5 carats. Okay, I don't know which part it is, but he says blowing something like the World Trade. And I think he was referring to the 93.
The 93 World Trade Center.
World Trades bombings, but I don't know if he got a lot of heat back then. I was only 3 years old, so I don't know. But like you said, with where we are now,
Yeah, that I mean,
very different.
Yeah, and you could argue you could argue that there's an insensitivity there, but if you go back and compare those two events, I just think it's different.
Yeah.
I just think it's different. That's pretty wild. Yeah, she's somebody that I told you my daughter recognized when we threw the game on. She's like, "Is that Flau'jae?" I was
Right.
like, "Huh?" And she knew her from the the kids rap show, whatever it was.
Rap game.
Rap game, right? When she was
Jermaine
coming
Dupri.
up. There you go. She watched that show and knew her from that. And I said, yeah, she's an LSU basketball player. So, yeah, let's hope she finds her way to the other side of that story. That's one probably to take out. Maybe like it. Man, yeah.
It's super catchy. I'll give her that.
Oh, I bet it is.
It's very catchy.
I bet it is.
But,
Oof. No, I've heard some of her work. She's talented, but that one might be a little tough. Might be a little tough on that one. All right, so we'll see where that story goes. Keep our eyes on it. Coming up next, Mark Henry, hopefully coming in studio with us, talking about the events for next week, the AEW event and the event benefiting USA Weightlifting Foundation. Stay with us. It's The Horn.
Chad and Zay.
Oh, yes, indeed. It is hour number 3 on a Thursday. We got a special guest in the studio, and it's already been a good day. It's about to get a little better. I'm Chad Hastings. He is Isaiah Collier, and he picks out a beat for us to start every third hour. What do you got, Zay?
This is Rick Ross.
Okay.
Super high.
Super high?
Super high.
Okay, we're just not even hiding it at all. We're just going right in.
No.
All right. Rick Ross beat, and we are super high. Well, we are high to have this guy in the room with us. We told you about the event. If you go to hornfm.com, you can find out about 2 different events. AEW is coming to town for Dynamite and Rampage at the Moody Center next Wednesday. Go check that out for your tickets if you want to grab them. And if you're looking to help out a really cool organization, next Friday is the Big Lift, benefiting the USA Weightlifting Foundation. And joining us right now in studio, we'll give Vaqueros a little love. The Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina hotline brings us all the guests, but he's sitting right over there. He is the world's strongest man, Mark Henry. How are you, sir?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Good to be on here with you, man. You know that y'all are my news source.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't really watch the news much unless it's something I really need to see.
Mm-hmm.
But like I have the app on my phone, and everywhere I am in the world. I mean, I've listened to y'all in Canada and
Let me get you to pull that mic up a little bit, because that wonderful beard of yours might be. We want to get every bit of tone in that. What is that? There.
Oh yeah.
There we go. Come on, Mark Henry.
Come on now.
Tell him about it.
Sexual chocolate.
Thank you,
Coming
sir.
back.
He's back.
He's
Thank
back,
you, sir.
baby.
Thank
No, man. I Sexy Chocolate never left. Zay. Easy now.
Oh, man.
But man, I mean, England, you name a place like that I've traveled, like I listen to the app. That's how I get my news.
Oh, thank you. So that's a little scary, thinking that you're somewhere around the world listening to like Zay or me or one of our other shows, just, going off on something. We're trying to find facts on Wikipedia, and you think it's the news. That scares me a little bit.
Hey, you know what? Every now and then you just have to go with the fake news and then fake it till you make
There
it.
you go. Right. That's kind of the way it is. All right. So we mentioned both events next week. I am obviously excited for both. I'm also honored that you asked me to be the MC. How many people were unavailable or said no before you got to me?
Only one.
Just one?
Only one.
Okay.
You were second on my list anyway.
I'm honored.
And
That's big time.
Maria Menounos, she was battling cancer as well as their baby came.
You did not have her first.
Yeah.
Oh, I love her.
She's awesome. She's like the biggest wrestling fan in the world.
She is that.
And brother, I mean, she was like, Mark, I don't know if I'm going to be able to. It's going to be close, but I'm going to say yes. But if the baby comes, then I have to pull out. Wow. And like you got the call a month out.
Dude, that's crazy. Now I got more pressure on me. I had
no pressure.
Yeah,
I had no idea.
Listen,
that
we're
I
gonna
would
have
be
fun.
right after Maria. Come on now.
You're gonna be like Joe Rogan. You're gonna be like the comedy guy. You're gonna be pointing out in the crowd. Oh my God, look at this guy. Oh my God.
Hey.
Oh, I know who she is.
Hey, let's start throwing some names out. You've given me a couple ideas. What names can you tell people will be there at the event next Friday? What do we know?
Mayfield.
Ooh.
Baker.
A starter for the Tampa
Yeah.
Bay Buccaneers.
TJ Ford.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
GOAT.
Nate Boyer.
Oh, wow. Reef, Big Nate.
Liz Cambridge.
Yo.
Yeah.
Look at Zay.
Yo.
Look at Zay.
Mark.
I knew Zay would like
come
that
on
one.
now, Mark. She hasn't played in a while, but I'm still keeping up with the
She
Liz
said
Cambridge.
she was single.
I'm married.
Oh,
bro.
you married.
I'm
You're
married now.
off
Back
the
in my
list.
day, boy.
She is something, man.
So
Love her.
Do you watch a lot of movies?
I watch a few.
You ever seen a show called Greenleaf?
No, I'm sorry.
So the producer of Greenleaf is coming.
Okay.
Princess Morris.
Very nice.
That's the
unbelievable.
That's the Oprah
director.
Channel show, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like she's one of the top. She won the Mario Van Peebles Award. Like, I mean, there's gonna be some dogs in there, but I'm just saying there's gonna be Olympic gold medalists as far as you can see. There's gonna be enough gold in that room to to rival Fort Knox.
Wow. What percentage of the room can squat 500? How about that?
Ooh, 500. Vernon Davis is pretty strong.
Vernon Davis.
Wait. Vernon Davis going to be there?
Vernon Davis is going to be there.
Dude, we got to get you and Vernon Davis to do some combine drills that night. Is there any way we can do that?
No.
Can we do that?
I'm old.
Come on, man.
I'm a lot older than Vernon.
Come on, Mark Henry.
Oh, no, man.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But you know what, man? Like, as many great athletes are going to be there. I just got a special place in my heart because being a little kid in Texas, it's very rare that you get the opportunity to meet your heroes. And about maybe 15 years ago, I befriended this gentleman that, he rolls off people's lips and people just savor it. And that's the Tyler Rose. Earl Campbell.
Okay.
And when Earl said, "Look, I'm coming," he called me.
Wow.
Really?
He was like, "Man, my son said you're doing something. What are you doing?"
That's the best intro I've ever heard. Earl just calls up, "Hey, the kid said you're doing something. What's the deal?"
Shout out TC.
And I said, "Earl, don't tease me. If you come, I'm gonna lose it." And he was like, "I'm coming."
How many people you think are going to fanboy over Earl Campbell that night?
Bro, it's gonna be a line of celebrities that are going to be waiting.
They're going to be pushing you out to the side. Baker Mayfield's going to get elbowed out of the way.
Oh yeah, man! Like he's special, man. It's just there's celebrities. Muhammad Ali and Magic Johnson were also real high on my list of people that I loved growing up, and Earl he's one of those.
Man, that is so cool. So you hear some of those names that are going to be at this event.
Rulon Gardner.
Next for there.
Olympic gold medalist.
Dude, that's where I was waiting.
Okay.
I was
Wrestler,
waiting for you to
man.
throw that one out. Rulon Gardner. That was, how many Olympics ago was that? I'm an old man now. That was a while ago.
Don't.
But I'll
don't
never,
make me lie to you.
I'll do the research. Don't worry. Don't worry. Hey.
Say you ain't
No.
Yeah.
That's good. I'll get your research done before next Friday. You're good. You're good. Rulon Gardner, you hear those names. Vernon Davis, Cambridge, Nate Boyer, TJ Ford, Baker Mayfield, and more. Go to hornfm.com and get your tickets. 6:30 cocktails, 8 o'clock the dinner and auction, a hosted full bar, and an incredible dining experience. And again, interaction with the Olympic and sports greats. And so, Mark, this is all to raise money for the USA Weightlifting Foundation, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you're a part of that?
I'm on the board.
You're on the board. Okay.
Yeah. I became a member of the board after going to a couple of the galas, and I just knew it could be better. And when I started talking to them about fundraising, I had never fundraised a day in my life, but man, I've gave hundreds of thousands of dollars in charities, going to these galas here in Austin, wanting to support mostly kid foundations, but it ended up, being something where I not just support a kid foundation, but a lot of people that are sick, mental health, areas. So it's really nothing that's kind of been untouched in the last 10 years. And I wanted to be a part of the building process for it. And they were like, let's do it. And joined the board, and here we are in Austin, Texas.
That's awesome.
May 19th.
Look at that.
At the Van Zant, man, it's going to be awesome.
Big smile on his face.
Yeah, that's big time.
I'm excited.
Uh-huh.
I'm excited. It's it's very few grounds that I haven't touched, and this is one of them. So I want the energy in the room to be fun, and that's why I was saying there's no pressure. You may have to read a couple of liners, introducing people, but outside of that, I want you to be you. That's why I wanted you to do it.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Oh, you got the perfect man, Mark.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Yeah, it was two. That's an easy decision.
That's a win.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Mark, because one documentary that I remember watching back in the day. It was on Julius
Michael
Erving.
Jordan will not be at the event. I'm just telling you right now. I know where you was going. You're a basketball
I
guy.
wasn't going with that, but I appreciate you throwing that out there because I was speculating a little bit. But, I watched the Julius Erving documentary, and we know what he was known for, just his athleticism and his dunking. And now that he's in his probably 70s or so, every birthday, he still sees if he could dunk the ball. And I don't know if he's still going, but when it came out, he was around his 60s, and he was still dunking it. He wasn't throwing windmills or, 360s or anything,
Right.
but he still get up there and punch it. And just knowing your history and what you've done throughout your career.
Zay, put it out your mind.
Do you...
I want you to take all of that.
You've done a lot. You don't know where he's going. Come on now.
No, he's finna ask me, can I still dunk?
I'm not...
No, he's not. No, I think he's going somewhere else. Zay, where are you going?
Are there any workouts that you do where you're like, okay, I still got it, that you just want to see, test your strength? We're back in your days, to where you see now, okay, even though I'm not what I was, you're still in great shape. I'm looking at you now. You're still in great shape.
Yeah.
But is there anything that you do? Like, what's the workout routine nowadays?
So I do what you call a 300 workout. I do 300 reps every day, and 100 upper body reps, 100 core reps, and 100 lower body reps. And you want to do it as fast as possible. You want to do it under 30 minutes, under 20 minutes preferably.
Obviously.
Because you want the cardiovascular side of it to take a hold.
Right.
So, you do 25 of these, 25 of those, just make up. You could pick whatever exercise you want, but you got to do 100 reps of it, and you got to get it. It's get down, and then you stretch, and then you work on mobility, and that's it for me. But, my son is in the gym real hard, and he's doing the heavy lifting. And he went down from 600 to 500 to 400, and that was the end of his workout, doing reps. And before we took the 400 off, I was like, cold, no sweat, no warm up, nothing, just standing there.
Here we go.
I'm going to try it. And I pulled it pretty easily.
Right.
And I've been on the shelf. That was about 3 months ago. I have not lifted a weight in 3 months.
What kind
My
of
back hurt so bad.
What kind of lift you talking about? 400.
Idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, Mark Henry, he's such a good guy. He raised money for charities. What? Yeah, he was 52 years old and cold. Tried to pick up 400 pounds, almost blew his back out. That's what happened.
What kind of lift were you doing for 400?
Deadlift.
Okay, you were just
it was just, I wasn't going to squat it or try to bench.
I'm just checking. It's you, so I'm checking.
Oh, man, that was stupid. Those moments where you just go, why did I do that?
Yeah,
that was one of mine.
That's impressive, though.
But I still did it.
Yeah.
I've never thought of this.
I paid for it.
Oh, yeah. Sounds like it. My God. I never thought of this question before, but if a normal person like me goes to work out with you, do you make them sign a waiver? I mean,
No.
how does that work? Like, the idea of when you think of a workout and when the rest of us think of a workout, it's a very different world. So
this summer, when I do my Mark Henry Strong Kid events at Hit Athletic, where, oh, man, I have to use landmarks. On Burnett and Anderson Lane.
Yeah, right.
There's a gym called Hit Athletic. Adam Boying, right over here in Westlake, owns it. We've been putting on the Strong Kid events, since 18. And you can come by there and get the workouts because we don't just work out.
Right.
They do the 300, and then they do sports performance, and then we compete. We hang on the bars to see how long you can stay.
Wow.
We do tug of war. We do dodgeball. We compete. You got to teach kids to compete. You can't just do all the sports performance and then don't have no objective.
Man, I think the only thing I might be able to beat you
You
in
can
is
come in there.
I think dodgeball.
Come in there.
I
Boy, them
might have a
kids,
shot.
Boy, them
I want to
kids.
come in there.
Since you have a little more target
Play some
area than I
dodgeball?
do, I might be successful in dodgeball. Maybe.
Well, I don't play.
Oh,
I
well,
teach.
oh, okay.
my playing days are over. Yes,
Okay,
sir. They're
fair
over.
enough.
But it's funny to see some of those kids like they try to take your legs out.
Damn.
No headshots. That's the number one thing, guys.
No
do not-
headshots?
Do not hit anybody above the shoulders.
Okay.
And
This is not how they taught it at
Nah.
Waxahachie Middle School.
hey man,
Things have changed a little bit.
I don't know if the little girl last year was mad at one of the boys for hitting her real hard, but she rifled and hit this boy in the face. I had to act like I didn't want to laugh, but it was funny.
Oh,
my God, that was good.
All right, Mark Henry's joining us here in studio. Again, the AEW event next Wednesday, USA Weightlifting
Yes,
Foundation. The big lift is next Friday night. Now, I know you got a busy schedule these next couple weeks. Do you need to run? Or you want to hang with us a
No,
little
I
bit?
can hang with you.
You going to hang?
Yeah.
Okay. Mark Henry's going to hang out. We'll get some more from him. Again, you hear some of these big names that are going to be at the event. Go to hornfm.com to find out more about the big lift. Up next, we will tell you more about why today matters. Oh, since he's sticking around, we have a perfect question for you today, for all the people, but it'll also be a perfect question for Mark Henry. Coming right up. Don't move. It's the Horn.
Chad and Zay.
All right, rolling through a Thursday. I feel like Zay's testing me here. Are you testing me, Zay?
This is easy.
Is this a test? This should be easy?
Nah, it shouldn't be easy. I mean, you should have recognized that first voice.
I heard the Atlanta reference,
Oh, yeah, but
right?
you didn't recognize the.
Hang on, make sure. Oh, man.
You said Ralph? No, it's
The first thing that popped in my head when you started it was Ja Rule.
Oh, come on.
Oh, man.
Mark, you see what I got to deal with, Mark?
I'm sorry.
He gets DMX and Ja Rule confused like I don't know what. How do you keep doing this?
And it's DMX.
Yes.
See, and I thought of DMX, of course. Why do I always get the two mixed up? It's one of those things, man. Sometimes it happens. Like with those actors, there's a Kyle MacLachlan and there's a Dermot Mulroney and there's all. I get them mixed up sometimes. I don't
Bless
know.
your heart.
I know, it's terrible. All right, so DMX joining Duran Duran, Weezer, Spiral Staircase, Taylor Dane. We had the Rick Ross beat to start the hour, and we have the world's strongest man in studio with us, Mark Henry, talking about this USA Weightlifting Foundation event next Friday night. But since I am a mark for pro wrestling and now AEW, shout out to my buddy Rick who got me into AEW, and I can't get away from it now. I'm addicted. They're coming next Wednesday. Mark, it is the first time that AEW, Dynamite, and Rampage, for people who don't know, you get two shows in one.
Yeah.
You get to go see live.
You get your money's worth.
You absolutely do. I was at the one out in Cedar Park, and you get that money's worth. All kinds of matches. You get the Dynamite live, and then you get, after that, you'll get the stuff that'll end up appearing on.
That'll show on Friday.
That'll show on Friday on Rampage. It's very, very cool. First time at the Moody Center. How excited are you about this?
Man, I'm excited because, you know, that's Austin's finest. You made it. It's like being in New York and you perform on Broadway and you're not off Broadway. Like when you perform at the Irwin Center, when you perform at the Moody Center, it means you arrived.
Yeah.
And AEW, we're there. I mean, you know, you said we're going and we're going to Europe. We're going to London here coming up in August, and it's going to be
like
at
Wembley.
It's
Yeah,
going to
right?
be at Wembley Stadium, and we've already, you know, surpassed 70,000 tickets.
That's awesome.
So like you've arrived, and I'm excited, man. Just to be in Austin and to be able to have like some of the Austin faithful, you know, that's going to show up to the event, as well as all of these beautiful Austin fans that love pro wrestling and the surrounding areas. I know people from San Antonio and Waco that are coming to the show.
Wow, that's cool.
Man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. And is there any truth to the rumor that there will be a trios handicap match, you against three wrestlers? Is that still happening?
No.
That's a no?
I would say that's a no.
Oh, that is a no. Okay.
Because
all right.
I am a retired. I am not coming out like Ric Flair.
No, I'm proud of you for that. I've told you I'm proud of you for that. You got to keep resisting.
Listen,
you got to keep resisting.
Now, there's a number.
Oh, okay.
There's a number that
Yeah.
could get me out for one night only, because I'm going to need like a year to heal up.
Yeah, especially after deadlifting.
Let's
so
never try to just deadlift cold 400 out here.
What a dummy.
Unbelievable.
Hey, Mark, let me ask you this. What do you think about the Pat McAfees and the Bad Bunnies and the
Love
Jake
it.
Pauls?
I love it because the people that you named are actually serious about wrestling. It's like if Chad was physically able to, he would do it because he loved it like that.
He said if like he just knows it's
No,
impossible.
I know.
Did you
I
hear
know.
that? You know how quickly he did that?
Listen.
Okay, so if Chad was worthy.
I mean, you wouldn't be
I
on the
didn't say if you was
turnbuckle type
worthy.
of guy.
I didn't say if you were. You definitely were.
No, I know what you're saying.
You can pull the sword from the stone. But I'm just saying,
No,
if
you're right.
you go out there
Yeah.
and try to do a 25-minute match like Bad Bunny did,
Yeah.
you would be beyond sore and damaged. The things that he did, he's the greatest celebrity, non-wrestling athlete performer I ever saw.
Wow. Okay.
I never seen nothing, man. That was grown up stuff, man. He
Like he don't even got a singing career.
he don't
Like he don't even care about selling out shows
Listen,
for his
man.
music or nothing. The way he be throwing his body around.
He was flying. I'm just to show you his commitment. He was flying from off tour. he would do a show, like he'd do a big show at the Staples or Crypto Arena. He would do a show, get in his jet, fly to Orlando, and go to practice.
What?
Wow.
And work for 3 hours with coaches and look film review and watch yourself over again and say, that's not good. Don't do that. Do this.
Like the pros do.
Like the pros. It's pro wrestling is pro wrestling. And then he would leave there and then fly to Nashville and do a show. Like, the dude was committed, and I respect him to all hell. That man, he could actually be a professional wrestler if he wanted to.
Yeah.
That's how good he is.
Mm.
And the little bitty things is what make a great performer, a historically great performer. He's only had 3 matches, and he's already doing stuff that I expect out of Hall of Famers.
Right.
And I'm like, what is going on? Like, is this dude a mutant or something? Because it's incredible. And the same thing, you mentioned Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee loved wrestling growing up. It's kind of like where he bases his persona. Like, he'll wrestlers to do anything. Pat McAfee, he'll whatever you want to do, he's up for it.
Oh, and there's a lot of promo cutting to him. You listen to Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee has always been able to cut a promo.
Yes, he has.
And then he got in that ring, and it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, and he's an incredible athlete, too.
Yeah. No, he did a couple things I'll never forget. First time I saw him in a match, I'm like, yep, he can do it. And Paul's the same way.
Yeah.
People can say whatever they want about that's Logan Paul,
I said
correct?
Jake Paul.
Logan,
Yeah, my bad.
people can say whatever. That dude is a phenomenal athlete.
Wow.
Have you ever seen him? There's a video of him and his brother on social media playing football with LeBron James and a bunch of other L.A. Rams. And, man, listen, LeBron should have played football. I'm going to leave that right there.
He'd have been Vernon Davis.
I would roll that grenade.
He'd have been that tight end.
Golly, man. Unbelievable. But Jake Paul and Logan Paul were running routes and stuff, and I just could not believe how fast and how explosive they were out of cuts. Like they played before or something.
Holding their own.
There's some athletes out there in this world, man. They just in the wrong sports.
That is good
I
stuff.
like what y'all doing with Rick Ross, too, in AEW. I like his little cameos and stuff. Ross is hilarious.
He is unbelievably funny. I didn't expect it. You know, I've known Rick. I've been to birthdays at his house and stuff like that. But he has showed me a different side of him. Accusation. Like, nobody said nothing, Rick. But you know that's not whatever they said is not true. Oh my God, he's a mess.
Mark Henry joining us in studio. Let's get a little bit of why today matters, because I got a question I want to throw at the world's strongest man. Here we go. All right, before we get to something else, Zay just got an update out of the NBA. Remember, tonight it's Boston and Philly at 6:30. Philly trying to close it. Denver at Phoenix. More bad news for the Phoenix Suns, Zay?
Yep, DeAndre Ayton will not be playing tonight. He has a rib contusion. So just say you scared, DeAndre. Just say Nikola Jokic is whooping my ass. I am flat out scared. I ain't trying to play tonight.
You can't put bruised ego on the injury report. They don't allow that.
He might as well.
Come on, man.
Man, rub some dirt on that and get out there.
That's a rough one there. So that'll be tonight at 9 o'clock. I already kind of thought Denver was finishing it. Now Durant and Booker are going to have to go crazy to win that game.
Maybe 40 apiece instead of 35.
Right.
One of them going to go Kobe tonight.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. It's going to and we know which one of them can do that. And with all due respect to Mr. Durant, it's Booker that reminds you were talking about how he reminds you of Kobe.
Oh yeah, the footwork, the fadeaways, the ball handling, the aggressiveness,
the
attitude. Yeah,
I heard that a national person echo that thought the other day, and I totally agree. That is who that could be tonight. So we'll keep an eye on that. No Ayton in that Phoenix game tonight. All right. So why today matters? Today is National Eat What You Want Day. So. To you two guys and to everybody else on the Specs text line, 337-3776, if for one day you could eat anything you wanted It will not go to your hips. It will not go to your waist. It will not be bad for you. It won't be bad for your teeth. It won't be bad at all. What do you eat, Mark Henry? What do you want?
You mean like yesterday?
Yes. Anything you want, as
Oh,
much
my
as you
gosh.
want. What is it?
Man. But I eat well. It's not like it's bad for you. All the sushi I could eat.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Just sushi all day.
Man, sun up to sundown.
Okay. Zay?
That's tough. Probably just a fried Cajun platter. Give me some shrimp in there.
You know, I'm changing
catfish.
mine. I'm joining Zay.
You going Cajun now?
Yeah, me and Zay, we're going to get some gumbo.
Yeah, some gumbo, baby.
Some fried fish.
Yeah, it's going down.
Some shrimp and crab cakes.
Ooh, crab cakes is one of my favorites. That is good.
Cajun platter. That's all right, Zay. You all right.
I'm so simple. I was driving in today, and all I thought of was pizza, root beer, Skittles, and cheese puffs. That's all I could think of. That is
So you basically
All
want
I
to go
can
to my car.
yes. I want to eat like a 10-year-old. Is
Everything
what I want to
but
do.
the Skittles. I mean, everything but the pizza.
But the pizza, okay, yeah. I'm telling you.
Cheese puff still a thing?
Cheese puff's still a thing. They're in my truck right now. I can't wait to get back to my truck.
Dude, I could eat cheese. If it wasn't bad for me, I could eat cheese puffs / cheese balls for 10 hours straight.
See, that's
this,
what I'm
this
thinking
is
of,
going to
cheese
be
balls.
a commercial, but have you ever put hot sauce on cheese puffs?
No.
Tabasco.
Really?
Yes,
Tabasco
man.
cheese puffs.
Yes, sir.
Now that's a cheese puff
Change
connoisseur
your
right
life.
there.
Change your life.
That man, you know what? Nobody ever put Tabasco on like their 10th cheese puff. It has to be at least your 500 to 1,000th
Yeah.
cheese puff.
Oh, yeah.
Before you're thinking of that.
And pork rinds. Pork
Oh,
rinds
okay,
fit
man.
in that Cajun because you really got to go to Scott, Louisiana
Okay.
to really get some real good Cajun, pork rinds.
Where you go? Spicy pork rinds? Cajun pork rinds?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fair enough.
Don Seafood, baby.
That is good stuff.
Woo.
Let us know on the Specs text line what you think. It is National Eat What You Want Day. If you could eat anything you want all day long for a whole day, it wasn't bad for you. What would you want? But like Mark said, we all know it's bad for us. We still eat some of it sometimes. All right, so let's get you the reminder again. A couple things here. So AEW event is next Wednesday. If you
Yes,
want
sir.
those tickets. hornfm.com. You can go find the link there. You can also find the link to the Big Lift event at the Hotel Van Zant next Friday night. I'm going to be the MC, and all these famous folks are going to be showing up. You got any more names you could throw at the people?
Okay, I'm gonna give you the Longhorns.
Okay, yeah, let's get the Longhorn folks excited.
So let's Michael Griffin,
okay.
Griff.
Brian Arakpo,
Okay.
Derek Johnson,
Ooh.
Corey Redding.
Wow.
Man.
Man, I'm so excited because those guys, I watched them and idolized their play, and
Mm-hmm.
for them to come and support me, and also Emmanuel Acho, he donated and supported. Couldn't be here because of work, but he was like, "Man, I wish I could have been there," and that was enough for me.
Well, that's cool,
so,
man.
Like it's a lot of the Longhorn guys that have shown love, and they know whenever they have charity events, they got me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm there.
Right.
Man. You remember the 99 2000 time?
Mm-hmm.
You remember Trey Thomas?
Trey Thomas.
Safety.
I think I remember the name. Yeah.
Yeah, Trey is coming from Houston.
Okay.
He took over the Catfish Station and is killing it in Houston.
Speaking of a food I could eat all day.
Yeah, hopefully we can get him
Okay.
here in Austin, doing it big again.
Very cool. There you go. Some more of those names that are going to be a part of it. Go to hornfm.com. Find out more about the Big Lift. And also, get this. You talk about dreams coming true now. Mark Henry and his pipes have agreed to go on air with Coke FM
Yes, sir.
next Wednesday morning at 8:30 in the morning. That means Mark Henry and Bob Cole are going to be on the radio at the same time. I need y'all to sing some Barry White. I need y'all to go
Sure you're right.
right. I need it to be
We'll do some of
Base
those old
level.
Fred Sanford songs. You remember, If I Didn't Care.
Exactly. That's what we need.
That was legit. That was pretty good.
Two
Fred.
of my favorite voices of all time are going to be hanging out together. That's Wednesday, 8:30 a.m. next week. He's going to be down there with Coke FM doing. You're kind of doing like the Austin Radio Network car wash. You're going show to show to show to show.
Yeah, I'm doing it big. I want to cover every piece of ground I can.
There you go.
Because I don't want nobody to feel left out.
We appreciate that.
I love sports, but you know what, man? I got to go to the country channel. I got to go to the rock and roll channel, hip hop channel. I won't stay there too long because I got stuff to say. I like old school hip hop. I can't understand what the young people say today.
That mumble rap.
I done turned into my mom. Turn that stuff off.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's how you know we're all getting old.
When you start criticizing your kids' music.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And when all the music you used to think was dangerous is being used to sell cars, that's when you realize, oh, well, it's different. It's very different now. They used to all be scared of that guy. Yeah, they're not scared of that guy anymore.
You looking for a car?
Not anymore. No, I'm good right now.
Okay.
Shout out to
Apple Leasing.
Shout out to Apple Leasing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all got y'all
You
got y'all guaranteed. Okay. I was gonna send you somewhere else.
Okay,
But,
all right.
but I'll tell you off the air because
Okay,
I don't
fair
want
enough.
no trouble.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's, I guess, good. Always good to see you. I can't wait for the event next week. And we'll get you on next week as well. Maybe we can shoot for like after AEW before the event. Get a review preview going.
Let's go.
We'll
I'm
do
with
it.
I'm
Okay.
with it.
That is Mark Henry, ladies and gentlemen, world's strongest man. And if you haven't checked out AEW and you love yourself some pro wrestling, you need to check it out. Also, that All Access show, I'm now addicted. Addicted to that too. Little reality TV to go with the pro wrestling.
Stir the pot. That's what I call the
It's
show.
fantastic. I have learned more about Sammy Guevara in the last few weeks than I ever thought I would. And now Adam Cole and Britt Baker, they're my favorite couple on television. I don't know how that happened. Crazy. All right. A lot going on this week. Also, if you didn't check out Sports Guys Talking Wrestling this week, our man Stu did an interview with Mark, an extended interview previewing the AEW event, and he talked to Adam Cole. So you can check all that out, hornfm.com. Up next, we'll get you some stems and seeds. Before we get out of here, big night in the NBA. We'll get Zay's picks coming up on the Horn. All right, this is Chad. It's the first time I've ever introed it this way. You know, I was just talking to Mark Henry about Apple Leasing recently. Yeah, it was an easy situation for me. I needed a new car. I knew what I was looking for, some of those basic things I wanted, but I didn't want the dealer hassle. And with Apple Leasing, they take all that hassle away, but they still get you the discounts. They still get you the incentives that the dealers can get you. You're just not dealing with the hassle. You're signing everything electronically. Man, that was one of my favorite parts because you're not having to sit there for hours and hours signing all those documents. It is the easiest and safest way to get a new car. They'll get you the rebates, they'll get you the sales and all the things that the dealers would get you. But like I said, they save that hassle for themselves and they pass those savings on to you. Call 346-9977, just like I did. I talked to Beth. You may end up talking to Beth or one of their other great folks. 346-9977. Let them tell you just how it works at Apple Leasing and how easy it is to get into any make, any model, any car, any truck, SUV, whatever you're looking for. They're going to make it so simple for you. 346-9977 or go to appleleasing.com.
Chad and Zay.
All right, rolling through a Thursday. After my screw up earlier in the hour, now I'm knocked down. I don't know if I want to guess. Actually, I don't. This does not sound familiar to me. Do I have a shot?
No.
All right, who is it?
Big Timers.
Big Timers?
Big Timers.
Okay.
Birdman, Manny Fresh. You're familiar with those guys because we reviewed Lil Wayne last week.
Oh, they were on the Lil Wayne?
A week before.
Oh, they were on the Lil Wayne album.
Yeah, Manny Fresh
okay.
produced
Gotcha.
all of Wayne's album, or a majority of it.
Yes.
And then Birdman Baby, he was on the album
Okay.
too.
Yeah, I recognize that now. Yeah, Manny Fresh was very good. There was some good stuff there. Yeah, and I feel so dumb earlier because I heard it. I did hear it.
The DMX?
I heard it, and in my mind, I had both, because in my head, it's, okay, don't let yourself always guess DMX, because at some point, it's going to be Ja Rule. You got to pay attention. You got to pay attention, and I got trapped by it. Because today, my brain said, Chad, that sounds like DMX. You've seen the documentary. You've heard a little DMX. That's where you should go here, and then I just outguessed myself. Terrible move. It was awful. All right, we had the Rick Ross beat earlier this hour, so we got Big Timers. We had DMX, Duran Duran, Weezer, Spiral Staircase, and Taylor Dane. That is a wild music festival that needs to happen. All right, thanks to Mark Henry for coming by, hornfm.com for all that info on the Big Lift and the AEW event if you want tickets. Right now, let's get you some stems and seeds, including that NBA update. Bad news for Phoenix.
No stress, no seeds, no stems, no sticks.
Brought to you by AV Consultations, 255-8678, or go to avconsultations.com. Zay told you earlier in the hour, no DeAndre Ayton. Rib injury? Bruised ribs?
I guess.
Wow.
I mean, you say that it's some bad news. Is it? Because he ain't giving them anything anyway.
Well,
so now maybe Mike Malone has to do a different scouting report because he doesn't know what's going to happen. Like DeAndre Ayton, he's just giving you good cardio out there. That's it.
Maybe
a
now
nice workout.
Okay. Now you can play 5-on-5, maybe, if we're going to be cynical about it.
Yeah, obviously it's a loss. I wouldn't say it's the biggest loss, but it hurts, especially not having Chris Paul. That's even more on Devin Booker and Kevin Durant's shoulders. But yeah, man, it wasn't like he was slowing down Joker. Like, it just,
so
it's tough.
Denver finishes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
finishes.
going to agree. I want to see if Booker and Durant can do enough. I don't think they can. I'll take Denver, and I'm going to take Philly as well. Those are the two teams I thought would win the other night. I'm going to say they both finish. What do you think?
I'm going to take the Celtics.
Okay.
I think Philly at home, they're going to get a little tight. And the Celtics, if they pull away for a 10-point, 12-point lead, we know those Philly fans, boo.
Yeah.
Boo. James Harden missed a layup. Boo. Joel Embiid missed free throw. Boo. We know how they could get, and that can make you really tighten with what you know, the expectations, being up 3-2. I got the Celtics tonight.
Keep it close, Boston. That's exact. I completely agree with you. Keep it close. Make that crowd nervous. Make them nervous late, and they will turn. They'll turn on their own team. And it's different than Madison Square Garden, because the New York crowd, they get nervous, but they don't turn on their team. They're still ready. They're still the Philly is vicious. They're vicious,
Why
man.
are they so cold?
Oh, they are so vicious to that group. But I'm going to say they get it done tonight. Philly at home, Denver on the road, trying to finish it. All right, are you watching any of the hockey at all? You following the Stars at all?
A little bit.
Tonight they're 2-2 at home. I'm going to say the Stars get it done tonight, make it 3-2. New Jersey and Carolina. Carolina is trying to finish that series. So all the hockey's on TNT. All of the basketball is on ESPN. And Zay, do you actually watch the NFL schedule release?
No.
Each year?
No, I just wait till it comes out.
Because that's what I do. I just go check my teams once it's out there.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the last, basically from like the third round on to the draft. I don't actually sit there and watch every pick.
Yeah.
I just go to the list after it's done. Once you build it all up, now I'm going to go look. I'm going to go see what happens. So that's kind of what it is tonight. Cowboys fans, we already know the San Francisco game in October. Maybe it's Thanksgiving against Washington. That's the rumor that's out there. Houston fans, I have not seen Houston in any game yet. Houston has 9 home games. Cowboys have 9 road games, including that one at the Chargers. That one could be week 1. We will see. That happens tonight.